Jesmo li spremni? Kaj ima ekipica? Buraz moj, ovo je fakat bilo zanimljivo. Ovo ću morat pogledat ponovo, jebote. Ovo je fakat bio hype, bar meni. Ne znam za vas. Buraz. Thumbnail je Rudi Grudi ubio. Znači, ubio ga je. Baš ga je pokido, jebote. Znači, brutalan je thumbnail. Kikuse, trenutno nećemo, ja neću ništa igrat. Ja još neću ništa igrat, trebam malo proučiti ovu dramu, šta se dešava sa Logan Paulom i COFFEEZILLom. Ja ne znam, kaos. Znači, kaos. Da, danas su 3 questa. Evo, Rudi će vam reći koja su 3 questa danas. Danas je Triple Threat Challenge. Čuj njega bez cigara, burac. Ništa, šta, hoćemo krenut, a Rudi? Kaj veliš? Tako je, Kikus. A? Ajmo krenut lagano.
CryptoZoo.co.
Fuck. Ovo je slučajno bilo. Pa sad objasnite sam, burac, kaj sjedio na ušima. Rekao sam, sad trenutno ćemo pogledat šta se dešava sa dramom između Logan Paula i COFFEEZILLE. Ne znam ništa, načuo sam nešto da je Logan Paul skemo ekipu sa NFT-evima za brutalne pare i COFFEEZILLA ga je u biti, kako se to kaže, jebote, cancelo. Znači, cancelo ga je praktički, tako da, exposo, bravo, exposo. Tako da, evo, sad ćemo pogledat 3 videa i 4. video će biti Logan Paula di se kao brani, koji ima, doći ćemo i do toga, ajde, idemo prvo pogledat.
CryptoZoo.co. I am so excited about this project. It's so fun. It's a really fun game that makes you money.
A fun game that earns you money. How much did you guys make from CryptoZoo?
I lost around
Da podebljam. Evo, podebljat ću audio na... Sad mi reci, jel se čuje bolje?
$50,000 in CryptoZoo.
I lost $40,000.
I lost around $15,000 US dollars.
I lost $25,000.
$120,000.
$500,000 Australian, which is $500,000 in CryptoZoo.
Shut up! No, you haven't!
Uraza.
Yeah, 500k.
Oh, no. Today, we're investigating Logan Paul's CryptoZoo, a blockchain game that made millions but never worked. Some of you guys think you know the story, but it goes so much deeper. I've uncovered sociopaths,
Ako hoćete mogu titlove upalit.
fake orphans,
Evo, upalit ćemo i titlove.
and of course, at the center of it, we have Logan Paul himself, who has abandoned this thing, leaving thousands of fake orphans in his wake. Wait a second. Thousands of victims in his wake. Now, you'll be hearing from some of those people because their stories are heartbreaking. This is the first in a 3-part series that's been a year in the making. And if you like high-effort investigations like this one, please consider supporting this channel on Patreon. I don't take sponsors. We are viewer-supported. So if you want to and are able to, thank you. Either way, Enjoy the video.
Idemo, aj. Da vidimo.
For the last 6 months, I've been working on my own NFT project. We have a massive team behind it and are probably out of pocket like $1 million just because we believe it's going to work. September 1st, cryptozoo.co.
We don't scam.
That's
I've
fine.
never scammed anyone before. Logan
Šta
cares
da ga?
extremely deeply about his audience, loves his audience, loves his brand, doesn't have to
Okefaj ga. Šta je to? Kao pogrdi ga.
scam to make money.
Welcome to part 1, the $1 million mystery that began this whole story. Like many people, I first heard about CryptoZoo from a podcast Logan runs called Impulsive, which was the experience of a lot of people that I spoke to.
So I first heard about it on the Logan Paul podcast.
Impulsive, I think.
It was off one of the Impulsive episodes.
The thing that I'm most excited for, and this is the first time I've ever said anything about this. For the last 6 months, I've been working on my own NFT project. I think there needs to be a fresh take. And this project that I have is that fresh take.
Now look, at first, I was just as surprised at this pitch as anyone else because I just got finished roasting Logan for a different coin called Dink Doink, which his fans lost money on.
I'm a Dink Doink fan. Dumbest shit I ever seen, and that's why I'm all in.
It's comedic, it's fun, it's comedy.
Now look,
Buraz, ovaj COFFEEZILLA ima tako jeben edit zapravo. Već mi se sviđa. Evo, nije ni 3 minute prošlo. A eto Korsus je kupio. To je jebena igrica.
look, I know Logan and his friends tried to make it look like Dink Doink was all about the memes, but it turns out they secretly were tied to the project, and Logan created the Dink Doink character himself and subsequently abandoned that project. So if you invested in it, you got blasted, and Logan rightfully took a lot of heat for Dink Doink, which is why I was surprised when he seemingly immediately jumped into another crypto project. But Logan insisted CryptoZoo, it was different. It wasn't his friend's project this time, it was his. And it wasn't even a project at all. It was a game that could earn you money.
I'm excited to launch my game.
You keep using and you just did it again, you keep using a word there. Game. You're not using like a project. It's a game.
It's a game. It's a really fun game that makes you money.
Now you might be wondering, how's it possible to earn money from a game? Well, let me try to break it down for you. This is how it was supposed to work. You started by buying this crypto token called Zoo, which is their in-game currency, and you use Zoo coins to then buy egg NFTs, which you can then hatch to become animals. You then can breed those two animals to become hybrid animals. For example, if you breed...
Dok onaj drugi, kak se zove, nije Mike, nego je George, on mi je okej. George ima svoj neki stav i svoje razmišljenje i sve to i on mi je okej. Jebi ga, druži se s Logan Paulom, mislim, ko se ne bi družio s njim. Realno, kad pogledaš.
Breed a gorilla and a kitten, you get a gore kitty. And the more rare the NFT, the higher the daily yield of Zoo tokens that animal earns you every day. Theoretically, it works like almost like passive income. You can then burn your animal NFTs to release the Zoo they earned back to you, and from there you can invest it into eggs or just cash out. Now, some of you of the Egyptian persuasion might notice some triangular qualities to this game description. But let's not be too quick to judge, because remember, there are a lot of NFT games built on this model. It's called play to earn. Now, Logan admits that there are other games like his, but what's going to really make his stand out is that other games have randomly generated assets. His game has handmade art.
It's quick to make a digital asset with, you know, unique randomly generated characteristics. We handmade art for the past 6 months, bro. Approval, very specific notes, 10 different artists making art for our project.
Now, I'll admit, this all sounds very enticing. Handmade art, a fun game that can earn you money, and one of the biggest influencers in the world backing it. You might think, how can I lose? Which is why when people were told all you had to do to play was buy an egg, people spent millions. Just on the first launch between ETH and Zoo, people bought $2.5 million worth of eggs in the first day. And did I mention the game hadn't even been launched yet? All people were buying was the marketing and the promises. And it wasn't just the NFTs they bought either. The Zoo token also skyrocketed in value, reaching a $2 billion market cap pre-game launch, right? The trading volume was in the tens of millions of dollars per day, which kind of is like Fortnite not coming out, but people trading tens of millions of dollars in V-Bucks every day. That's what this was like. And I know it sounds stupid to buy an influencer project, but you have to understand, people saw Logan as different.
It was Logan Paul at the end of the day. An internet personality that I actually trusted, that I actually kind of believed in.
Obviously, when someone so influential releases something, everyone wants to be a part of it.
I still believe in...
Znaš kaj mene zanima, Rudi Buraz? Jer znaš ovu dramu isto koja je bila između Andrew Tate-a i Logan Paula i Jake Paula? Mene zanima je li Andrew Tate išta komentirao na ovo?
This false fallacy that everyone else started believing, that Logan Paul's a changed man.
I thought it was a safe place having a guy.
Nije, Buraz, pa pušteni su, odmah su bili pušteni. Pustili su ih, oni odmah, Buraz moji, bili su odmah na vijestima. Izjavili su da je neko zvao SWAT.
I like that identified, like Logan Paul being the head of the project.
They had seen this story he had been telling everyone, that he was this reformed influencer, right? That he was no longer a reckless clout goblin just in it for the money. They thought this time it's different. Logan Paul couldn't possibly scam us, right? But as the game got closer to release, the CryptoZoo team started releasing the first ever photos of these animals. And come to find out, this handmade art story wasn't really true. It was actually Adobe stock photos mashed together. This was the sort of first red flag of this project. And I made a video about it at the time, but it was kind of surface level, and something didn't add up beneath the surface. Something where I just couldn't shut this case down in my head. It was actually part of the announcement video that something they said. See if you can spot it.
We have a massive team behind it and are probably out of pocket like $1 million just because we believe it's going to work.
On development.
Yeah.
That's the line that started this whole mystery. We spent $1 million on development. I couldn't get this out of my head. You know, is he lying? There's no way he expects people to believe he spent it on art. So wait, maybe he spent it on blockchain stuff, right? That's what I thought. But then I audited the smart contract, and it's not handmade at all. It's not even original. It's what's called a fork, a copy of, you know, some other code that exists out there. One of them is called Floki Shib X, which launched before it. So where'd this $1 million go? I didn't understand. And Logan just kept repeating this claim.
We put hundreds of thousands of dollars in it. Personally, the whole team, $1 million plus.
Now, at the time I'm looking into this, there's a teaser going around for Hatch Day, which is the day you can hatch your egg NFTs. And it kind of symbolized the true launch of CryptoZoo. So I thought, maybe this is it. Maybe this is where they spent all the money on their game. Even their community manager, Ben Roth, promised people, after Hatch Day, things will take a turn for the 180. So I put Ben Roth on the board too. I needed to know all the characters in CryptoZoo. And I waited. And finally, on November 3rd, 2021, Ben Roth turned out to be right. Things did take a turn on Hatch Day, only for the worse. Let's meet one of the victims, Helicopter Bob.
Secret Island, ili kak se
My
već
name
zove.
is Rob. Helicopter Bob lost just under $7,000 with CryptoZoo.
And the first thing I asked Bob was about his animals. If he was making money with CryptoZoo, how much he made, and if the passive yield worked.
Oh, it never did from the beginning. It wasn't even written into the contract where it showed that you were actually yielding Zoo, but there was nothing that was actually, you know, backing that up. There was no way to claim your yield. There never was.
Wait. Play that again. Did you hear that?
There was no way to claim your yield. There never was.
Hold on. The core mechanic of CryptoZoo, that you can make money with these stupid animals, didn't even work on launch day. And still, to this day, a year later, still does not work, is what the investors are saying. Which, this is just crazy. People spent millions of dollars on these eggs. But it even gets worse because I kept talking to people and I discovered something. Because remember I told you you could buy eggs with those Zoo coins? Well, apparently they also made it so you could buy them with Ethereum. And on the day of selling, about half of these purchases took place with Ethereum. Only it turns out for the people who spent ETH, not only did the yield part of it not work, did the NFTs not pay you, you also couldn't even hatch them.
So I acquired a bunch of eggs, and I actually want to play the game. I didn't acquire the eggs with the intent of keeping them. I actually wanted to hatch them and see what I got out of them and play in this ecosystem that's been advertised or whatever, right? And then I can't do anything. It's not showing up on the website when I connect my wallet, etc., etc. So I'm a little baffled. I'm like, I must be doing something wrong. So I open up a support ticket. I open up a support ticket with CryptoZoo, and Ben Roth is actually the person answering my support ticket. Oh yeah, no, it's down for the moment, but we're working on it. Let me tell you, it's never been up.
Wait, you can't even hatch?
No, I'm telling you, it's just a picture. There's nothing I could do with it.
You're kidding! You can't hatch?
There's nothing I could do with it. You could ask any of those community guys. That's basically worth nothing whatsoever.
Wow. So on launch day, basically nothing worked, and a year later, that's still true. Now, after this was discovered, the price of Zoo fell 63% in just 24 hours. And at this point, Logan Paul basically goes silent on CryptoZoo. No more podcast mentions, no more...
Brate mili, koliko se ovaj lik zapravo potrudio doći do ekipe, imati intervju s njima i točno sazna sve kakvi su oni imali problema, bog te.
Saying he handmade art. CryptoZoo already got millions in investments, but Logan only speaks in the Discord twice over the next year to say, quote, sober, currently shaking my head, and yo. That was his contribution to this project. Meanwhile, his community manager, Ben Roth, was actively claiming that Logan was going to be marketing CryptoZoo any day now. He told people things like, Logan is an uncontrollable marketing guru. It's over when we launch. And when we have a product to market, it'll get marketed. And marketing will crush. I promise you. And this disconnect between Logan abandoning the project and his team on CryptoZoo saying that it was going to be any day now, left investors feeling like they were being led on.
All he had to do was go on and tell us, look, there's something going on with this project, I'm abandoning it, or whatever, before people got more and more trapped. And promising, yeah, this is going to be great. But when it came to actually doing anything, he just hid away from it.
Have some decency to come out, talk to the people that invested initially, that invested along the way on all of the fake and false promises, on all of the false hype, and be honest with people.
Because surely Logan Paul, who's got this billion-dollar hydration company and a WWE star, he's got enough money. He doesn't need to rug us lot.
And it's because of these false promises about marketing that these poor investors believed in CryptoZoo so long. They sat and watched every Logan Paul episode trying to guess and decipher when this so-called marketing push would happen. And Logan and his team really fed into this with a lot of cryptic messages. Only a month after CryptoZoo's launch, actually, the hatch day, they started teasing this.
Not too much of this is out, but he's been working on a massive project.
And one of them will be the biggest thing I ever do. It'll be it's like my life and soul is put into this project, which is where most of my time these days goes.
Wow, surely this secret project that Logan put his soul into is CryptoZoo, right? You know, the project he launched a month ago? Well, his fans certainly thought so.
I'm like, holy cow, it makes so much sense. He's talking about CryptoZoo. Ben and the dudes are like putting smiley faces and egging the rest of the community. Like, this is it, guys. You know, this is what we've been working towards. I mean, this is it. This it's finally happening. Logan's gonna market the project, and they kept saying that Logan's gonna market the project, and it's gonna change everything.
So now imagine their surprise when another clip surfaces of Logan finally admitting this secret project isn't CryptoZoo at all. It's something else entirely.
I'll tell you about this project when we get closer to launch. This project of mine is going to be...
Is that the thing with the egg? Like the Zoo?
No.
Okay,
this one's going to be, yeah. This will be the craziest I've ever done.
Oh man, can you imagine if you're one of these investors and Logan Paul's going pitching this new secret project and you're thinking it's CryptoZoo and someone's like, oh, is it that thing with the eggs? And he's like, no, definitely not. That was the last project. This is the real project that I'm working on. Thankfully, people didn't just let this slide, because as he went around making the rounds on his new project called 99 Originals, people were like, hey, didn't you just abandon your last one? And unsurprisingly, it's not his fault. It's the bad actors who ruined the project.
As I see people giving multiple explanations for why these haven't worked, and you know there's accusations out there. How does it make you feel when people are doing these takedown videos about your NFT projects previously?
It's sad because of what I just said. There's so much going on behind the scenes. Like, Doug, I'm not the bad guy here.
Yeah.
There's some actual out there.
Yeah.
And it's not me. Like, I'm here to build.
This is a space where a lot of people do see dollar signs. Like any burgeoning industry, if there's money to be made, there's going to be both good and bad people.
There's a lot of shady characters in the crypto space. I'm learning
No,
all of it.
it's
We had
not me.
An issue with CryptoZoo. Took the code that he made, fled to Switzerland, actually fled to Switzerland, and like held it hostage for $1 million. Like behind the scenes drama that took a stick and stuck it in the spokes of my wheels.
Oh, well, that wasn't expected. There's a shady developer who held up Logan's code hostage in Switzerland. That's why this hasn't worked the whole time. He held it hostage for $1 million. Well, let's add that to the board. I mean, isn't the mystery solved? Now, obviously, the first thing I wanted to do was hunt down this developer, who we'll be calling Z here, and find out the truth of what happened. Why did he steal Logan's code for $1 million? However, I finally got a hold of him, and when I did, he admitted he took the code hostage, but he says the reason for it was nothing like what Logan had said.
He literally never paid me anything at all, ever. I never paid. And, we got to a point when I was working on it where I just realized they were just going to try to steal all of my work and not pay me. And so I took all of the source code private. And I just kind of, we spent like a month just trying to negotiate and get something figured out where I would finally get paid. Because, I'm, on my end, I have a team of 30 engineers. So I'm earning $50,000 a week on building this thing. And the only thing they brought to the table were a bunch of Photoshop JPEGs.
So Z claims he wasn't blackmailing anyone. He had to hire a team to develop this whole thing, and he just wanted to be paid for the work they did. According to him, they negotiated a $1 million payday for this whole project. And from the second I heard that, I thought, oh, that's interesting, because Logan claims he spent $1 million on this whole thing. And this developer saying he's owed $1 million on this project. Now, I didn't want to just take one person's word for it, so I later confirmed with another developer who worked for something called the Blockchain Center that he also hadn't been paid.
We've been paid nothing. I would have loved to have Zoo, but I don't have any.
So that's multiple sources working on the CryptoZoo team project who were not paid. Now, obviously, these are big accusations, which is why I wanted to confront Logan Paul on them. But unfortunately, we're not exactly on speaking terms. So I wondered, how could I speak to Logan without speaking to Logan? And that's when I found out there was someone who might know just as much about this whole story.
And I will explain everything one day with my manager, who's in charge now.
Logan Paul's manager, a guy named Jeff Levin. He might be just what we need to settle this whole thing. So I gave him a call.
Hello?
Hey, Jeff. Hey, sorry to bother you. This is Steven with COFFEEZILLA. I'm calling because I've heard reports that CryptoZoo hasn't paid their development team, and I'm just reaching out for comment before I do this story. I got your number from one of the development team, and they just wanted to, I just want to follow up on that.
I have no comment for it.
Okay, are you guys denying it, or are you saying it's not true?
Just no comment. I don't think that the information is true.
Okay, because they're saying $1 million hasn't been paid in development for CryptoZoo, and Logan Paul said publicly that it has been paid. So, I mean, it's pretty serious accusation, and obviously, I don't want to just run a story. If you guys have a whole side to your story here,
Your job as someone that is reporting news is to actually verify correct news.
right? That's why I'm calling you.
I know, and that's legal grounds for that stuff. So I'm just telling you, legally, you have to report correct news with verifiable information.
Right, that's why I'm calling you. They've given me a lot of things. A lot of evidence.
Okay, well, okay. You can have the evidence you want, but I'm just letting you know, if you report anything on us, I appreciate your business. I appreciate you as a person. And I'm just telling you, you know, from a legal standpoint, as we've been advised always, is if anybody reports fake news, that's where we won't, you know.
Yeah, this call was a mess. Jeff, Logan's manager, seems to be implying that I'm not allowed to repeat allegations his own development team made, even though Logan can go on podcasts and publicly accuse those developers of stealing his code. Not only that, he's the one who refuses to provide any evidence, but seems to sort of be implying that maybe we'll sue you if you tell this to anyone, which he then denies doing when I ask him if that's what he's doing.
Told you I have no comment to it. Telling you once again, from a legal standpoint, you have to report truth. If you do not verify truth, then you're just allegations, and those then will be handled the way that we want to handle it.
Wait, so you're saying
that.
you refuse to give me proof that the allegations aren't true, but if I report on the allegations, you guys might sue.
No, I did not say that. I did not say that.
All
I
right,
said,
I'm trying to read between the
comments.
lines.
Don't read between the lines.
Okay.
Listen to
okay.
the exact words that I'm saying.
Okay.
Listen to the exact words I'm saying.
I'm listening.
I have no comment on the situation.
Okay.
Your job legally is to report facts. If you don't report facts on the information you're given, it is illegal.
Yes, that was a real conversation with a real person. Now, I'm no lawyer, but I don't think it's a crime to say that multiple developers say they haven't been paid, and Logan's team refuses to provide any evidence.
Znači, frajer ima dokaze i ovaj ih ne želi komentirat, a opet ovaj mu govori da ne može to objaviti dok nema dokaze. Ako sam to dobro shvatio. Kao točne dokaze. A ovaj mu nije dao nikakav dokaz. To jest nije ni denial, nije ni potvrdio, sam je rekao no comment. Koji kurac?
Or like statements or wire transfers that they have. Which, by the way, seems incredibly ironic, given just how much Logan whines about not being paid by Floyd Mayweather.
Where's my money, bitch? Floyd never paid me for our fight. Who am I, the IRS?
Nope, but you might be the CryptoZoo dev team. Now, in all seriousness, I do want to acknowledge something which actually kind of looks bad a bit on the developers, because it turns out very few written contracts were actually done. So much of this were verbal deals like, oh, we'll take care of you. We'll give you $350K. We'll give you $1 million. We'll give you whatever. But then when it was time to actually sign the deals, there's just always delays.
What kind of promises were made to you? Verbal promises, basically. So verbal promises, and then we follow up with like a physical paper agreement. But that's when communication broke down.
This is where I think the dev guys screwed up and led to this whole situation of like, okay, we're just going to take the code private until you pay us for our work. And to be clear, I'm not justifying not paying someone for what they did. I'm just playing devil's advocate and saying this could have all been avoided by just getting every detail in writing. And I think it's just a good general lesson. But if you're thinking that that's the $1 million mystery solved, well, no, because this still doesn't make sense. Why not just pay the dev team what you publicly said you kind of already paid them? Why not pay for a game that now isn't launched and now investors are so angry about? Why not pay when you already made millions from minting the eggs on this game? Well, this is where things get even stranger, because right when I was ready to pin everything on Logan, and believe me, he is at fault, I was speaking to the Z developer, and I heard a name that I hadn't heard before.
I basically came in with Eddie, and Eddie promised me 5% of the tokens and $1 million. He literally never paid me.
Wait a second. Who's Eddie? I thought that all of this was Logan Paul. I only put it together when the Blockchain Center guys also said a similar thing about their deal. They said they were promised $350K, and it was Ibanez. They say they had no communications with Logan. But we know they weren't talking about different people. They both dealt with the same guy. So the guy's name, I put it together, must be Eddie Ibanez. Turns out he was managing the developers. What's this random guy doing in Logan Paul's project? And who is he? Who is Eddie Ibanez?
Yes, hi, my name's Eddie Ibanez, lead developer here at CryptoZoo.
This reporter says Eddie's entire story
is fake.
Čekaj, Rudi, sad ne znam kaj da radim.
To continuously lie, lead
Kaj da radim, Rudi? Prije 57 minuta. Može. Dobro, ujebo, to je pol čuke, a?
But wait, what are you doing?
I'm just looking around. And done.
Well, what'd you find?
Few red flags, couple of misdemeanors. Ooh.
A onda...
Court cases. I'll send him over. He got sued by his landlord for not paying rent, sued by his credit card company.
A zaki ne I treći? Treći mi nekak izgleda najzanimljivije.
For not paying his bill.
You can skip that stuff. I just need whatever's relevant to CryptoZoo.
Well, that's basically it. Other than... Hold on.
Pa dobro, šta? To je do
No, wait, I did
10:15.
find something. Look at this.
What's this?
It's from a paper in Philly. I barely picked it up. This reporter says Eddie's entire story is fake.
Wait, what?
Yeah, the whole Eddie Ibanez character. This guy Adam Robb investigated it. He says it's a lie.
I gotta find this guy.
Pa
Send me
to
his
je
info. I got some calls.
najzanimljivije onda.
Coffee.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We met up with Adam Robb, the reporter who's been investigating Eddie Ibanez for a while now. And I wanted to know, what did Adam think of him when they first met?
I wasn't quite sure what to make of him. Based on what I knew about him, he was a MIT grad who went on to work for the CIA and the Defense Department, and I didn't want to waste his time. And it wasn't long after I sat down that I realized he was wasting my time.
Can you tell me about some of the lies Eddie told you?
Eddie has told me so many lies over the course of my 2 interviews with him, and the first lie he told me is probably the oldest lie that he's told so many people, which is that he's an orphan. I first realized Eddie might be lying to me when I went home the next day and Googled Eddie Ibanez's family. I found a video of Eddie and his wife making rice pudding on a Fox and Friends segment on Fox News, and Eddie's wife Jackie explained that she learned the recipe from Eddie's mother.
So in that picture, you've got Jackie Ibanez. You know her along with her husband Eddie and her 2 little girls. You love rice pudding. Why is this a family recipe?
Okay, so Eddie's mom made this rice pudding once.
Wait, Eddie's mom? I thought Eddie was an orphan. Well, it turns out the only problem with that is that not only does his mom exist, she's alive and in his life. And it turns out it wasn't just Adam that heard this story either. He told it a lot.
Did you ever meet his mother or his parents?
I did meet his mother.
Did he ever tell you he was an orphan?
Yes.
How did he square that with you?
So that's why I'm so confused. He told me he was an orphan and all this stuff, but then I meet his mom.
He told me he was an orphan and then I met his mother, is quite the string of words. But as insane as these lies are, let's be real, it doesn't explain why CryptoZoo failed. But the next lies kind of do, because part of Eddie's story is also that he went to MIT, where he was recruited to the CIA. And it's part of why he was so attractive as a lead developer, all the wild experiences that he had had. But it's just not true.
I emailed the MIT registrar's office and I asked if Eddie Ibanez attended the school, and they confirmed in absolute terms that he never attended MIT.
That's right, the whole orphan to MIT origin story, it wasn't true. And Eddie's whole backstory from here kind of falls apart as well. How could he have been recruited to a government agency out of MIT if he never went to MIT? If this is all seeming crazy to you, you might ask yourself, who would believe all this? And this is where Eddie shines. He kind of had a gift for getting people to believe in the lies he told, especially super rich and powerful people for some reason. Like take for instance, this story, him winning the Super Bowl for the Philadelphia Eagles. He managed to convince the owner of the New York Yankees that it was true, Barry Klarberg, who completely bought into it without question and told the same story later in a college seminar.
Let's go right into the work that you did for the Philadelphia Eagles, which led to a Super Bowl championship, led to you getting a Super Bowl ring. Tell us exactly what your job was to do for them and how it worked out.
No, sure thing. So first off, they said like, we don't know where to put you, but and then the sports science guy was the one guy. He's like, hey, I got some data. I'm interested. So so we took in his data, and then we found out that these players, what happens is it's like a player as they run around, they get a certain fatigue level. So if you ever played Street Fighter, the video game, there's like a red bar at the top, and every time you get hit, that red bar goes down until you die, KO, right? So then we're trying to figure out kind of what that is for a player, and on an injury level, right? There's an injury bar that gets knocked down and that gets KO'd.
This is insane. He convinced an owner of the Yankees that he won a Super Bowl by turning sports athletes into Street Fighter characters. And of course, none of it's true. The Philadelphia Eagles responded to a fact check saying he never worked for their player analysis team. Not only that, the Eagles also said that Eddie did try to do an in-person presentation in March of 2018, but that was already a month after the Eagles had already won the Super Bowl. And also they didn't hire him because of course not. Meaning there's no way this story is true. And yet he's convinced people at the highest levels of sports that it is. And this is where we get back to CryptoZoo, of course, because it's how he got involved with that project. Remember Jeff Levin, Logan's manager, who we spoke to last time? Well, he also spoke to Adam Robb. And when he told him the reasons he liked Eddie, they sounded very familiar.
And did he tell you, I guess, kind of like about like working with the NFL and that kind of stuff and the whole, like his time in the CIA and all that?
He did. And it was interesting. It was like, this is wild, like, that's pretty cool. But he's humble, and he's not like ever bragging or anything like that.
Wait, but he is bragging. He literally made it all up. The CIA, NFL stories aren't true. How could that not be bragging? But that's the impression Eddie gave off. But that's not all. Because Eddie didn't just use made-up stories to get in with the CryptoZoo team, he also used his other connections, his real millionaire and billionaire friends that he's managed to gain with all these fake stories, and some of them vouched for him. People like Chris Birch and Todd Morley.
And what was the thing that kind of like sold you on Eddie? Was it the fact that like Chris and Todd and people like that kind of like have backed him in the past and like?
I just think he's a down-to-earth, cool, humble guy.
Okay.
Who's been super successful. They're trying to do an agenda, and he's just kind of like, hey, look, I'm super smart in what I know, and I have amazing relationships through business that I've done.
It's incredible. I mean, how does this guy keep getting away with it? Honestly, it's baffling. But I've got to say, up till now, everyone's been fooled sort of fair and square on the same grounds. But I found out CryptoZoo did have an advantage that could have saved them all this trouble the whole time.
So a month before the launch of CryptoZoo, I got on the phone with Jeff Levin, Logan Paul's manager. And after he spoke fondly of Eddie and his work, I confronted him about some of Eddie's lies, including how
Ovo ti je drama buraz između ovog lika COFFEEZILLE i kako se zove, Logan Paula. Kak je Logan Paul skemao ekipu s NFT-evima.
he didn't work for the NFL. Jeff told me he doesn't know much about the NFL, but he knows about the business world. And Chris Birch and Todd Morley vouched for Eddie. And so Jeff and Logan were going to continue working with him. Have you ever verified that anything Eddie said about himself is true?
We verified that it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. We definitely talk to people.
Okay.
And his friends and and people that he said he has relationships with, which we've confirmed them for sure.
Okay. Because I had trouble with some of that, like with the NFL, like saying that like no, we've never worked with him, and that kind of thing. But you've had
the NFL saying that?
Yeah.
Like who at the NFL?
The comms teams for the Eagles and the Dolphins, and then the people specifically that he named that he said he worked with.
Got it. I don't know necessarily the football stuff.
Okay.
I don't have relationships in the football world.
Sure.
But in the business world, we've definitely, talked to multiple people.
Like Todd and Chris, and they backed him.
Correct.
Wait a second. This means at minimum, Jeff knew about Eddie's background beforehand, or part of it, and still decided to go with it. This is just unbelievable, willful stupidity. And since Jeff is Logan's manager, I assume him and the team should have known about this as well. But still, they went forward with it even though they knew this stuff before launch. Now, I started to reach out for comments about this because obviously this is a huge deal. But when I did, I got a call from somebody new. Someone with a different perspective that I hadn't heard from before. Jake, the Crypto King. He's been involved with some of Logan's projects in the past, like Pokemon, for example. He was called the collectibles guru a few years ago. Nowadays, he goes by Crypto King, and he's an advisor for the CryptoZoo project. So let's add him to the conspiracy board. But the question is, what did he have to say? I took a call with him, and he mostly wanted to talk off the record. But when I pressed him, he was willing to at least put one thing on the record for me.
Right. One more thing about Eddie before we get off of him. We actually...
The biggest reason it failed, in my opinion.
Okay.
Because I don't want it to ever be thought that Logan's the reason it failed. He's not. Logan wasn't smart enough for what he tried to build. And then when it was built and was failing, didn't have the ability to correct it and to save face and reputation. It was more convenient to pull out than to be associated with a failing project that the dev rocked. So I could put that one sentence on the record.
Well, that is certainly emphatic. Crypto King says it's all Eddie's fault. And this is a nice, neat theory for us. You know, Eddie ruined everything because, yeah, Eddie is a liar. So it does seem to explain how these developers got screwed. But this theory doesn't fit all the facts because Eddie was kicked off the team months ago. And still, the game is not working, despite Logan claiming they were going to go back and fix all the problems.
Again, retroactively working to make these projects right. And this just takes time, bro. It just takes time. Development takes time.
Working backwards to fix things, which isn't ideal, but also this project will speak for itself.
And now, you know, we're working backwards to try to fix it.
This just hasn't happened. Even a year from launch, the game just doesn't exist. What's worse is the newest dev team who came on after Eddie just quit. And one of the reasons was they hadn't been paid for over a month. I know this because Logan's team is leakier than the Titanic and someone told me that, but we also have blockchain evidence. This is Jeff paying Block Ops, the company they hired out on July 19th. They were supposed to redo all this work. It's confirmed by their leader, Skip, talking about a first monthly payment on that day. But after that, there's nothing until they quit on September 26th in a post called Our Departure from CryptoZoo. Now, I do have to say, it does look like they were eventually paid, but only a day after they quit. And this is just the same problem as before, slightly different. Nobody can pay these devs on time, and investors end up getting nothing. And so I can't buy into the idea that Eddie's at fault for everything, because when Eddie was gone, they had a lot of the same problems. Now, it was only at the point that this dev team quit, Block Ops, that things really took a turn. Because if the Titanic was leaking before, now it was sinking, and everyone basically gave up hope. You know, from every direction, I started getting messages from all the investors who felt betrayed, who up to this point were holding on to hope. Now they felt defeated. They felt tricked by the CryptoZoo team who had fed them promise after promise, and they were sick of it.
He was never in the chat or anything, never apologized or told us anything.
Things didn't work out. Things didn't work out. We all get that. But to continuously lie, lead people on, hype people up, to put more money in, all the while in the background, things are going down, things are hitting the fan, and you've left us holding the bag.
I know it was my decision, and I did my research, but I believe nobody has to lose money in this way.
And that's when a whistleblower stepped forward and decided enough was enough. They decided to leak me messages, team messages, from the CryptoZoo team from all the way back in the beginning when they thought of this idea, all the way up to launch. And seeing that, it changed everything. Because all of a sudden, I got a lot of new information. Remember how Jake, the Crypto King, said Eddie was the only problem? Well, a year ago, he was saying something very different. On the day of launch, he said this to the group: Logan, you stole 40 million in tokens from me. You are a scam artist. You are a liar, and you betrayed your own community. You aren't that guy. Logan replies, oh, Jake, trust me, bro. I am that guy.
You're gonna change this whole story. Yeah, I'll go on the record for you, and yes, I'm gonna show you the text message that say we can sell at these ascending market caps, and that it's not like I was trying to run a project. It's like I put $250,000 into a project plus 6 months of time, and the founder never did anything he said he was going to do, and then hired a bunch of devs that didn't do what they were going to do. And every time I gave advice, the advice was I was told, So there was nothing illegal about that. Ethically, arguable. The rest that Logan did to me was ethically wrong and illegal.
Uraz! Sad ide najzanimljiviji dio, a? Buraz, ovo traje pol čuki.
For the last 6 months, I've been working on my own NFT project.
We've put hundreds of thousands of dollars in it. Personally, the whole team, $1 million plus.
We had an issue with CryptoZoo, where our lead developer took the code that he made, fled to Switzerland, actually fled to Switzerland, and like held it hostage for $1 million.
He literally never paid me anything at all, ever. Eddie promised me, 5% of tokens and $1 million. He literally never paid me.
This reporter says Eddie's entire story is fake.
The biggest reason it failed, in my opinion.
Doug, I'm not the bad guy here.
Yeah.
There's some actual out there.
Yeah.
And it's not me. Like, I'm here to build.
Welcome to part 3. So far, we've discovered fake orphans. Millions of dollars.
Ček. Nisi po neku čokoladu samo.
Stolen and a cast of sleazy characters, but now it's time to put it all together. What is the truth? And who's to blame? We're going to start by going through leaked text messages of the CryptoZoo team to understand all of their motivation. Then we'll go to blockchain evidence and show who sold what. And
Kad planiraš koliko sati igrat? Kroz sat vremena.
Finally, we'll confront some of the people responsible. But before we can do any of that, we have to start in March of 2021, 6 months before the token even launched. Our 4 suspects, Logan, Crypto King, Eddie, and Jeff, are in a group chat discussing CryptoZoo, which starts as a copy of something else. Quote, "I like imitating crypto kitties," Jake the Crypto King says. Logan replies, "I agree." And initially, it wasn't called CryptoZoo at all. It was called Crypto Pets, and they were going to sell a pets token. And pretty early on, it became clear this was all about money, how they were going to sell this thing to investors. In fact, Crypto King said he thought it was worth at least $20 million in only 6 months, saying the range is insane. $20 to $210 million. It's beautiful wherever we land. Eddie jumped in at this point and talked about how he could sell the project as an investment to a friend, Matt Higgins, saying, quote, "He has to spend that $350 million somewhere. Why not us?" And Logan says, "I love that idea. Crypto King, I'm in." And of course, you have Jeff saying, "Let's go." So you can see right there, they wanted to sell this game before it had even launched. Now later, Eddie amends the list of investors and says, quote, "Investors will be Gary Vee, Todd Morley, James Altucher, Ryan Kavanaugh, and others confirmed on my end." Supposedly, they had $100 million of investment interest. Now, I actually went to some of these investors and asked if this was true, and the one person who responded denied it, Ryan Kavanaugh. Quote, "Nope, not even a little bit." So this looks like it could be yet another lie from Eddie Ibanez, but either way, it looks like there was more issues than just finding investors because the team wanted to pre-sell tokens, and not everyone was sure it would be legal. Jake the Crypto King mentions that, quote, "If we have a pre-sale, it opens us up to SEC issues." And Jeff agrees and says, "Don't want to do anything that brings the SEC eyeballs." Now, not everyone wanted to be so cautious, though. Logan argues everyone does pre-sale with coins. Eddie agrees. He says, "You absolutely can do it. I have the SEC down, private and pre-sale." And honestly, it was quite the dilemma for this team who wanted money. Do a pre-sale, make millions, but, you have these potential legal issues. Don't do it, you make less money. So Crypto King comes up with a middle solution. He says, if we can't sell, no pre-sale. We can still trade them in the liquidity pool. And this is the start of a new disaster, which takes a bit of explaining. Now, just so we're clear, a pre-sale is...
Čekaj, ove tu sve poruke koje mi sad vidimo, to je od ovog Crypto Kinga, jel da? Kaj je liko poruke? Tog grupnog sa Logan Paulom i ovima svima. Tako ljudi.
Where you sell investors coins, usually at a discount, before you've launched. And then when you launch, you give them those coins. Now, like I said, the team didn't want to do that. So what they did instead was they bought the tokens on the open market right after launch. But they tried to get clever with it because they didn't actually announce that they were launching this coin at all. They stealth launched it on June 11th and didn't announce this token through Logan until August 18th. Meaning they had all that time to silently buy up as much of the supply at a steep discount as they wanted. And the idea here was that doing this, the team could get these tokens extremely cheaply, which is kind of like a pre-sale, but you know, without all the SEC troubles. And Crypto King makes this clear on June 7th when he says, quote, launch of the liquidity pool is where huge money will be made because you get in cheaper. And then says, we, the team, begin buying out the liquidity pool. Once the team has exhausted funds for the liquidity pool buying, we send the contract address to friends, family, investors who want to be able to get in. So obviously the plan is we buy first, then we give it to our close friends and family, and then maybe the public eventually, right? And even the day before, Crypto King reminds everyone, quote, Zoo Day is tomorrow. I highly recommend everyone get a few $100 to a few $1,000 in Zoo when it goes live. It will likely 10 to 1,000x. So that was their plan. Rather than doing a pre-sale, they were going to do this stealth launch and hopefully get tokens cheaply the same way, but without all the legal troubles. Or at least that was the plan. Because on stealth launch day, this is where things first started to go wrong for the team. At first, everything seemed to go normal. The team sat in a circle and literally bought it out as planned. But the next day, Crypto King says something odd. Quote, a bot is playing with our token. Kind of cool to watch them work. But he doesn't mention who this bot is. And he also says the asshole finished selling, but doesn't mention who that is. Now, Jeff, Logan's manager, replies upset. He says, how do we prevent someone doing what they just did again? We went from a $130 million to $26 million market cap in 2 hours. It's not cool to watch. Logan jumps in. Yeah, wait, how did that happen? And he also says, what asshole? How did anyone get this token except for us and none of us sold? And I think actually this is
Eddie.
is incredibly suspicious because the implication of what Logan's saying is, hey, we tried to scheme this really well. We tried to all buy this without letting anyone know. How did anyone else figure out we were buying it, right? And this is where a fight ensues that's going to become really interesting. Crypto King deflects the question by saying, my buyer pushed it back up to $40 million. And Logan says, no, bro, F your buyer. Explain to me what just happened and how there were 30 token holders. And Jake tries to explain that this was just traders and bots happening to find the token. But Logan says only 5 of us knew about it. Jake says, well, many people chase volume and new tokens. And to some extent, he's kind of right. But Logan replies, cap. He doesn't believe it. Quote, I can't be the only one who thinks that's too incredibly convenient. Like someone was tipped off. And look, no one's more critical of Logan than me. But as I'm reading these texts, I was kind of like agreeing. Like, yeah, it does seem too nonchalant when somebody's ruining your secret plot. You know what I mean? Because Crypto King was acting very strange. He says, we created $40 million out of thin air. This is a success. Logan replies, this nonchalance worries me. F 40 million. It was at 120 million, which again, it's all about the money with these guys. But truth be told, I did agree that Crypto King's attitude seemed strange in these texts. I mean, he's not wrong that bots are a thing. Traders are a thing. But it sounded like he didn't want anyone to look into it. So, naturally, I looked into it. And what I found surprised me, because there were bots, but there's also unusual human activity during this time. So I tracked the 5 biggest buyers of this Zoo coin. And lo and behold, this is what I found. Logan was one of the biggest buyers, which is what you'd expect. But he wasn't the biggest. In fact, 2 of the biggest wallets seem to be associated with Crypto King himself. And here's where I paused. I said, wait a second. Why did this guy buy more Zoo tokens than Logan when this is mostly Logan's project? I thought Crypto King was a small part of this team. And so to get more info on this, I actually got access to an internal meeting note from the day of June 11th, which they called Zoo Day. And in it, we find actually some interesting information. We see that 5 founders bought in. They apparently were, quote, trading in circles until each person maxed out. But on the list of buyers and how much they spent, are only 4 people when we know 5 people bought. We have Danny, Logan's assistant, for 20K, Logan Paul for 100K, Jeff at 100K, and Eddie at 100K, but Crypto King is nowhere to be found. And yet, on the blockchain, I have him putting in $200,000 worth. And this number, by the way, seemingly is confirmed in a conversation I had with Crypto King, where he said, my 200K investment. And the reason this is important is because it does imply that something shady was going on the day of the stealth launch. Because Crypto King had a relatively small role in this whole project. He was the advisor, but it wasn't that big of a deal. Like you can see from the internal meeting notes, they have a breakdown of who's getting what in terms of founder tokens. And like Logan Paul's getting 51%, Eddie's getting 30%, Jeff's getting 10%. Jake's only getting 5% of tokens, but he has the most of these like stealth launch tokens, which makes no sense. And it got me thinking that maybe what explains this suspicious behavior around like, oh, don't worry about who was buying at the time of the launch. Maybe that's explained because perhaps no one knew that he was buying up large parts of the token supply. Maybe he was buying it to sell later. Now, of course, that's speculation. So that's why I confronted Crypto King on all of this. But before we get to that call, let's address the elephant in the room. Logan didn't accuse Crypto King of being a scam. It was the other way around. Crypto King told Logan Paul he was a scammer. And the question is, why? Well, to answer that, we have to go from June, the stealth launch date, to September 1st, the official launch date of CryptoZoo.
September 1st, CryptoZoo.co.
Now, the day of the launch was a bit strange because you might think, well, they already have a token, right? But the first thing they did was actually create a new Zoo token with a different code, but the same name. And they actually airdropped all the holders of the first Zoo token with an identical amount of those coins on the second Zoo token. So you might be wondering, why did they do that? Well, maybe it's to change the smart contract, but maybe it's because of what they did do. They blacklisted some of the holders. In other words, they didn't airdrop to everyone, including Jake the Crypto King. They excluded his wallets so it couldn't get these Zoo coins. Jake texts the group about this the next day, saying, quote, the Zoo team made a major error this weekend. They chose not to communicate, mint a new token, and airdrop it to whatever wallets they determined fit. This decision came from Eddie and Logan, and I had no part in it. 11,250 wallets before the airdrop, under 11,000 after. They chose to blacklist and ban over 200 wallets. Now, who those wallets are, I have no idea. But he continues, quote, as a founder like Logan, Jeff, Eddie, and Danny, I had purchased a large quantity of tokens. 5+ of my wallets had been blacklisted from the original team's buys. Now, I don't know why he had 5+ wallets there, but okay. He says 80+ billion Zoo tokens were confiscated from me to date without any communication. So, wow. That's why Crypto King accused Logan of stealing from him or scamming. It's because he was frozen out of a lot of his wallets. And then we get to the text you guys all know. He says, Logan, you stole $40 million. You're a scammer. You're a con artist, all that stuff. You betrayed your community. The reality is you aren't that guy. And Logan responds, oh, Jake, trust me, bro. I am that guy. Q, in the arms of an angel. And look, I mean, what do we make of this? Well, I don't know. I can't root for either of these guys because it sounds like Logan stabbed him in the back, but it sounds like Crypto King may have stabbed him in the back in the first place, right? Because it does appear like he bought tokens that maybe everyone didn't know about. So I'm really not a fan of anyone in this situation. And by the way, this whole thing was structured so misleadingly from the beginning. I have to talk to you a bit about it because you might think that these tokens were the only tokens they had, but it's not even true. In the distribution section of Zoo's white paper, they say there's 2 trillion tokens, and a quarter of that are allocated to development, marketing, and founders. Those aren't even the tokens we're talking about right now, because they claim that those tokens were locked up for 6 months, and then afterwards, 10% was unlocked every month. And if that's true, there would be no reason for these funds to be blacklisted, right? Why would you blacklist something that would be locked up? And the answer is because, well, the founders had more than one set of tokens. Not only did they supposedly have these founder tokens that were locked up and couldn't be sold, these stealth launch tokens were different from that. It's like a whole different thing. And the tokens that they bought, that all of these guys bought, they could sell at basically any time because they weren't locked up, which is a massive problem. And this fact was explicitly laid out in their meeting notes with only one rule. They say, quote, no selling until $200 million market cap, and don't impact the market more than 3%, and not impact the market more than 10% in a day. And by the way, this is basically conspiracy to manipulate a market. You know, they're literally having insider rules for how to sell, but we're gonna look past that, right? Because these rules eventually kind of changed. A text from Logan's manager, Jeff Levin, came to the group chat, Zoo Founders, saying, guys, new and absolute rules. No one is to sell or transfer any Zoo. Logan's gonna make the call when we can make moves. And Logan replies, your tokens do not leave your wallet. This is a game. Now, that all sounds well and good. Don't sell your tokens, but the reality was, I mean, they're just kind of trusting each other because these tokens that they're talking about, they're unlocked. They're not locked up, and they could sell it at any time. And I guess the question on my mind is that why Crypto King's tokens were blacklisted? Because they thought he would sell? Or maybe it's just the fact they found out he bought and they didn't know about all those tokens. It's honestly hard to say without knowing more evidence. And this is where we're going to jump into the blockchain. Now, I've tracked the wallets of the entire team and identified the largest seller of Zoo in the team. And it wasn't Jeff. It wasn't Danny. It wasn't even Logan. It was Crypto King. Crypto King sold, by my calculations, millions of dollars. And I know what you're thinking, how's that possible, right? I thought his tokens were blacklisted the day of the official launch. How could he sell that much? Well, the answer is that not all of his tokens were blacklisted. He had even more tokens behind the scenes. And what's worse, the CryptoZoo team actually gave him back a lot of his blacklisted tokens, which I guess you can see as a good thing or a bad thing because he then turned around and sold those tokens, right? And from my blockchain analysis across his blacklisted tokens he got back and the tokens that he had squirreled away the whole time, he ended up making $6 million. He did this by sending out tokens from these larger wallets to dozens of smaller wallets, selling it, and then sending the money to final cash out wallets. So I used those final wallets to calculate the amount he made. Now, I know, look, it's a lot to accuse someone of selling $6 million in a project that doesn't even work. It's a giant scam. So I wanted to...
Buraz moj, ova cijela scena s tim kriptovalutama, NFT-evima, to je tako komplicirano, buraz moj. Ti prije neka ulaziš u taj svijet moraš provesti pol godine, buraz, da uopće skužiš kaj se tu dešava i kaj je to.
Give him a chance to defend himself. So I got on a call with Crypto King, and here's what he said when I finally revealed that I knew he had sold.
I'm gonna change this whole story. Yeah, I'll go on the record for you, and yes, I'm gonna show you the text message that say we can sell at these ascending market caps, and literally, I'm gonna 100%. It sounds like your biggest issue with me is that I sold, and if that's your biggest issue with me, that's the truth.
Wow, that.
To je najgore, buraz, kad ti ne znaš toliko dovoljno dobro oko kriptovaluta i NFT-eva i možete bilo ko uvjeriti u bilo kaj. Znači ti trebaš doslovno biti ko ovaj lik, buraz moj, da ideš ući u tak nešto, da te neko ne sjebe.
That is a big admission. Selling tokens for a project that you're an advisor on when the project has never been delivered. Although Crypto King insists that it wasn't $6 million and he wasn't trying to rug a project. In fact, you know, really, he might be the one who got screwed over in all of this.
Like, I didn't sell $6 million worth. That's going to be other wallets, but that's probably not going to be able to being able to be proven, except for them saying, can you send BNB to all these different wallets for me? Which that I'll be able to show you that I was giving BNB to the whole team. I'll also be able to show you that I was a 5% holder of the Zoo tokens that I was promised to be given over the 3-month period was never given. I can also show you that I was frozen out and was never given the 15 billion tokens back that I paid for in cash. So
Okay.
I'll show you all of those things on the record, and then you can also say that I did sell, which is also true.
Yep.
Well, as long as it's accompanied with he was a founder that was supposed to be given 5% of the project and was never given the token or paid, worked for almost a year on the project. As long as that goes in with it, then at least that tells my side of the story so people understand that it's not like I was trying to rug a project. It's like I put $250,000 into a project plus 6 months of time, and the founder never did anything he said he was going to do, and then hired a bunch of devs that didn't do what they were going to do. And every time I gave advice, the advice was I was told to fuck off. So it can be that story, or it can be he sold all this amount and he got in early. Well, yeah, that's like 1% of it though.
Incredible. He sounds like he views himself as the victim, or at least like he got screwed too, which just has to win the gold medal for me for mental gymnastics, because, I mean, he literally had put $200,000 into this and he says he made millions of dollars. Even if you take him at his word that he didn't make the full 6 million, he admits to me later that it might be a pretty close guess. He tells me via text, quote, "I don't care if you tell people I sold a few million and leave it at that." Well, okay, $6 million, a few $1 million, it's millions of dollars, right? Millions of dollars when you only put in $200,000 into a project that's never been delivered, doesn't work, scammed people out of their money. How is he saying he's the one who's in the wrong? Well, in his view, what he did was not wrong. It might have been arguably unethical, but it wasn't illegal. And what Logan did, well, that was illegal.
You can say the timing was bad and it was inappropriate to sell, but the reality is I bought tokens open market and sold them open market. So there was nothing illegal about that. Ethically, arguable. The rest that Logan did to me was ethically wrong and illegal.
Now, what do I think of all this finger pointing? Well, I think it's pretty wild to try to make yourself look like the lesser of two evils when you made millions of dollars and investors lost millions. I just do. Now, at the same time, I want to be fair to Crypto King. He's not the only one who sold here. But I also have to say, not everyone from the founders did sell. For example, Jeff, Logan's manager, to my knowledge, never sold. Neither did Logan Paul, which was a huge surprise. All their wallets that I tracked, held on to their tokens, which is good, and to their credit for a game that doesn't work. But you know who did sell? Eddie Ibanez, the guy who didn't pay the initial devs, the supposed MIT orphan. Yeah, from what I could see, his initial wallet got a ton of zoo, sent it to a bunch of smaller wallets, and then sold off, kind of like Crypto King. And for my calculations, he made about $1.7 million. Now, I have to tell you that like Jake, I tried to confront him and give him the opportunity to defend himself, but he never replied to my emails or my phone calls, and we're just gonna have to leave it there. But we're not done with the money just yet, because we still need to talk about the eggs. Remember, we talked about how they profited from...
Što se tiče tih NFT-eva i kriptovaluta, buraz, ne vjerujem ni ja. Jebeš ti to, buraz. Nek se ljudi bogate na tome, ja ću rađe... Meni to buraz ko dilanje, majke mi. Ko dilanje trave, isti kurac. Zabavam se, ne znam, meni to, ne znam. Ne želim uopće ulaziti taj svijet, niti pokušavati shvatiti taj svijet. Kako to funkcionira, uopće me ne interesira. Samo znam da smo propustili priliku kad smo trebali kupiti Bitcoin i to je to. Evo, to jedino znam.
Also made millions from eggs. According to their own internal meeting notes, they plan to make about $3 million selling these eggs for 0.1 ETH apiece. And that's not far from what I calculated they actually did make, which was about $2.5 million. In the meeting notes, they say they're going to clear expenses and then do payouts. But pay out who? They don't say. And these expenses are referencing an earlier note suggesting Eddie and Logan had both spent $300,000 each, which I'll say is not $1 million. But okay, we'll give it to them, right? So they got paid back their $600,000, but where does the rest of the money go? Well, on the Ethereum side, there's one payout for $364,000 to one wallet and another $1 million to another. Both are Coinbase addresses, so we don't know who exactly that is, but clearly someone on the team made a lot of money from these NFT egg sales that do not work. And on the Binance Smart Chain side, where they also made money selling eggs, the zoo that was spent was supposed to be set aside for 50% to be burned, which they did, but the other 50% was supposed to be allocated for wildlife charities and crypto zoo development. Now, neither seems to have happened because all the money is in a wallet that the team still controls, so there are open questions about, where that money is going to go and where the Ethereum money went. Did it go to Jake? Did it go to Logan? Did it go to Jeff? Did it go to Eddie? We don't know. But what I know for sure is that no one was innocent, although there's certainly shades of guilt you can argue about, because of course, not everyone did sell. You could look at that as the most important thing. Logan Paul didn't sell. Jeff, Logan's manager, didn't sell. But does that make them innocent? Well, I don't think so, because they never built a game they promised people. Logan Paul specifically got millions of dollars spent on this game on the promise of the technology that he never built, that his team never built. And he never addressed the failure except to blame his developers who weren't paid. And you could say he promised to work backwards to fix it, but then never did. But at the same time, it's clearly not just Logan's fault either, because there are major team issues, right? You've got Eddie selling millions of dollars of Zoo and then allegedly not paying developers. You've got Jeff, who was warned about Eddie, who kept him on the team anyways. And then after they fired Eddie, seems to also have failed to pay developers on time. And then you've got crypto.
By the way, ekipa, fali mi jedan follower do 600 na mom Instagramu, tako da tu bacite klik na ovaj link zadnji.
Himself, who sold the most, but claims he was the guy who was scammed, which is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. It's just like Avengers Assemble for the worst possible team you can imagine to build a crypto gang. And so, unsurprisingly, it turns out a lot of these guys backstabbed each other. And so, finding a way to wrap this up was difficult because it's hard to assign exact proportions of blame. Because if you focus on any one person, you kind of miss why this project failed. CryptoZoo, at the end of the day, did not fail because the price went too low. CryptoZoo failed because they never built a functioning game that they promised. Really, the number one problem, even bigger than people selling millions of dollars of tokens, was that they never paid the developers on time, as boring as that is. And as a result, the investors not only got rugged for millions of dollars, which is a problem, but they just didn't get the core thing they had bought from the beginning, which was not a crypto project, but something different.
I'm excited to launch my game.
You keep using and you just did it again, you keep using a word there, game. You're not using like a project, it's a game.
It's a game. It's a really fun game that makes you money.
That's it. That to me is the biggest scam in all of this. Yes, it's a huge problem. People stole millions of dollars, but it's a symptom of the larger issue, which is people didn't actually care about the game or this, whatever you want to call it. They just cared about the money. And this is ultimately what happens when you have an influencer LARPing as a businessman. It's what happens when you have a liar LARPing as a developer. And it's what happens when you have a shady crypto guru LARPing as a crypto king. You end up with a mess. And in my personal opinion, a fraud as well. And now that this thing blew up in their faces, these four seem to be dodging accountability faster than SBF dodges calls with me. Because I have reached out to everyone involved. I've tried to get all of their statements on things. So far, no one has taken accountability or offered to refund the victims at all. They're all hiding, pretending these victims don't even exist. But they do exist. And throughout my investigations, they've been the heartbeat of this whole thing. So I decided to close this investigations in a bit of a unique way. Rather than me deciding who's to blame or me deciding what you should think, I want to give them the last word.
Everyone's to blame. Logan, in the sense of his poor management, is his project. He still made these promises to people.
I think everyone it is to blame, including Logan Paul, of course, because he was the one in charge of this, and he was responsible for all of this mess.
Everybody has a big part and a massive, massive cross to bear.
Each one of them scammed the project in their own way, and then off to the sunset they went.
It was his job to check the team, to make sure that everyone is working together, to make sure that he is giving.
Ak ne pokazuje, bog te kikus. Ured, gle. Viš da pokazuje. Uraz, gle thumbnail, bog te, pa gori jebote, Rudi, ubio si.
Giving the funds of the people that put it into
zla.
his project under his name to people that he actually trusts. So in my opinion, if the team failed to perform, that's Logan Paul to blame.
The community is destroyed. people is angry. They just want their money back. They just want their normal lives back.
Reimburse those loyal fans that they have, or how to rebuild the product.
Ovo je... Frajer se preselio u Amsterdam. Ma igra Overwatch samo. Buraz, ovo tu ti je ko sa Battlefieldom 2042. Ista stvar. Ista stvar, Buraz. Hoće šljakat, radi za booking.
Project, actually deliver on the project for those who are still
Da radi za booking u customer support.
For those holding the zoo coins, so maybe they could just deliver what they promised, and that would give some redemption to this fiasco.
He's not said a word. That's as bad, or almost as bad, as taking the money. It's the not coming out and just being a man.
Buraz, ja sam još kupio igricu, tako da... A jebi ga. Imao sam para, pa ajde, htio sam probat.
About it.
At least we deserve to know what was happening behind the scenes while we were waiting for almost a year and a half. The fact that we're hearing this information not from Logan Paul but from pretty much an investigator, it really says a lot.
What did this loss mean?
Pa ne, mislim... Ja ne vidim nikakvu razliku. Mislim, jesu, popravili su neke bugove, hit regove, te pizdarije. To jesu. Buraz, moram nastaviti video da završim ovo, usraću se.
To me, it meant a lot. Not just personally, because I lost quite a lot of money. My kid and also my wife were invested. It was like telling a kid that Santa doesn't exist or something like that, because she really believed in all that game. She really believed in Logan Paul. Kids look up to that kind of people. So it was some kind of broken dream.
My mum was invested. My sister was also invested. So, I mean, my daughter even had a couple of the eggs and animals, which the loss for them hurts the most, because obviously it's just not nice to see.
For somebody to win, somebody has to lose. That's a gamble you take, whether you get into crypto or not. I got in knowing that I could lose, which is fine. That's on me. But I thought if I lost something, it would be because I sold at the wrong time, or the game didn't earn as much as I thought it would, and therefore my things weren't as valuable. But you never go into it thinking it's not something that they're going to just sell out.
Buraz, kad gledam ovaj video, znači imam osjećaj ko da se meni monitor kreće, ko da podrhtava, ko da je potres, majke mi.
From underneath you, because they could make so much more if they actually delivered on what they said, even if they delivered on close to what they said. And that's the thing, is you don't think they're going to rug you because there was so much money in a game wallet.
Ultimately, at the end, the way I see it is, it was fraud. Logan could have put out the red flags, told people to stop investing more into it, because people were investing into this project until the very last minute, where the ship was still just sinking down the ocean, and people were still putting their cash into it.
If I was on a call with Logan Paul, I would ask him, where did his redemption arc go? I think he was on such a good streak going about his YouTube career and boxing as well. And it's sad to see that because of money, once again, we have degraded down to stealing from his viewers.
What would I say to Logan Paul and his team if I could? Well, actually, I could, because I have an NFT from other project that gives me the right to see Logan Paul, to meet and greet with him, and I will actually use that right to tell him this story again, show him this video in front of me, and see how he reacts when he sees that my family, my whole family and my kid are affected with this situation, because I think that's not human.
You would think that Logan would have told his fellow followers, his loyal fans, that, hey guys, back off, red flag, things are there's turbulence in the water. No, not a single word, nothing whatsoever.
To market products at children and knowing full well that his team is made up of people that he believes are shady characters. Yeah, he still goes on Forbes interviews and says the game is great for kids. It's gonna it's going to be amazing.
Who loves it most? The kids.
Hmm.
Their kids love it.
Our developers' kids, all of them, cannot stop playing the game.
I think that is inhumane the way that side of it's been marketed.
Knowing what's happened since, knowing that all of the people that were there from the beginning, like all of the guys that I'd speak to on a daily basis, that we've all just got nothing now. Ideally, I just want to say I'll see you in court.
Bam, u pičku. Sorry, dear Steven, COFFEEZILLA, there are certain legal issues around the company and it's probably the... Hope that this will be resolved. Bam, ba-da-dam. Uraz, frajer je ubio video, fakat. Frajer je fakat ubio video. To je bio zadnji video, dobro. 12 dana. Zanima me. Ovo je sljedeći video. BRB. Ček, pustit ću neku ziku u pozadini, a? Be right back, guys. Evo me nazad. Evo me nazad, ljudi. Evo me nazad, nastavljamo, a? Evo, 7 minuta i onda impulsivi, onda
I
možemo
watched a
igrati.
3-part series called Investigating Logan Paul's Biggest Scam, and like many on this platform, you have successfully used my name for views and money. While your work used to be impartial, your addiction to clicks has clouded your judgment and you've made very real errors with very real repercussions. Coffee, you took a shot at my reputation, so in this video today I'm going to be defending myself with facts.
Uraz, di imaš ti komarca u prvom mjesecu, kaj se luda, dobro, malo je zatoplilo, a?
Something that you have gotten in the habit of twisting as you continue to morph from an investigator to a gossip channel. You see, COFFEEZILLA tried to work with law enforcement in the past, but his work was described as not anchored to truth and often speculative. He is a lopsided journalist with an agenda, and he's nothing more than the Keemstar of crypto and finance. But as opposed to just telling you, I'm going to show you some of the core discrepancies that I caught in COFFEEZILLA's investigation. Coffee.
Da vidimo. Damn!
You interviewed the developer who stole the game code.
Če, koliko je bilo kad smo gledali prije? 100 i nešto hiljada, jel da? Ne jebote, pas. A ne. $170, da. 170.000. Naš sam buraz, kaj ne bi naš.
Fled to Switzerland and held it hostage.
54.000 buraz.
For $1 million. Well, his name is Zach Kelling. Surely, as the internet detective that you proclaim to be, you would know that he spent time in prison for multiple felonies, one for aggravated robbery, armed robbery at a liquor store, and the other for, surprise, obstructing the legal process. I can see why you kept him anonymous.
Who will be calling Z here.
I guess among many things, it doesn't surprise me that he lied about having 30 engineers and a $50,000 a week burn rate.
On my end, I have 30 engineers. I'm burning $50,000 a week.
Which, side note, is how this delusionist landed on the $1 million code ransom, but it turns out he only had 3 engineers. Wouldn't someone with journalistic integrity know their credible source had not only an agenda, but a fondness for orange jumpsuits? Or did you just hear what you wanted to hear and moved on? Because even if you're lying to yourself, Steven, you still have to believe it. And I know what you're thinking. What type of idiot would work with an unsavory individual like Zach Kelling? I guess that's what I get for trusting the team that I relied on to vet and manage Eddie's hiring process, who has turned out to be a professional conman that I have since learned fooled billionaires, the Mormon Church, the owner of the New York Yankees, and now me. And surely you knew Emilio, the gentleman who supposedly let his child invest in a cryptocurrency, was allegedly responsible for 2 rug pulls before you interviewed him. So either you missed that or you knew it and failed to let the public know. Why? Because it was a clear sign that he was also untrustworthy. You seemed pretty excited when the guy told you that he couldn't hatch the eggs.
Wait, you can't even hatch?
No, I'm telling you, it's just a picture.
You're kidding! You can't hatch?
You're kidding. You can't hatch?
You can't hatch?
Yeah, 1 second of research research would prove that to be false, as you can definitely hatch eggs and even breed your animals.
Click on that. Oh, we got a duck.
And as you pointed out in your fine print, cross-hatching was available on ETH at one point, but you perpetuated the opposite as truth with your chest out.
Basically, nothing worked.
And by the way, Guy, almost all NFTs are just pictures.
No, it's just a picture.
And surely a real internet detective would not break criminal and civil laws in trying to get information, right? So why have you allowed the illegal recording of Jeff's phone call without his permission? And then more like an internet criminal, post it online.
And it was interesting. It was like, this is wild.
Now, although you didn't verify any backgrounds, substantiate any evidence, took multiple criminals' words as truth, and broke laws, you still published the defamation. However, unlike you, the blockchain doesn't lie. So let's highlight some things that you did point out. Crypto King Jake stole $6 million. True or not, we had already removed him from the team when we realized he was a bad actor and his motives were purely financial. Conman Eddie, lead developer, stole $1.7 million. True or not, when we learned he was a bad actor as well, he was immediately removed from the team. While myself and Jeff sold nothing and made nothing as verified through investigation and the blockchain.
Jeff, Logan's manager, to my knowledge, never.
Čekaj, znači, Logan Paul je zaposlio kriminalce, makar je znao da su kriminalci. Ili? Je saznao nakon. Onda da.
Neither did Logan Paul.
I repeat, Jeff and I made no money.
To mu je možda kao bio backup plan, kao da se pravi glup ako sve ovo propadne, da kao nije znao, bla bla bla.
And we'll never make any money on Crypto Zoo. In fact, we only lost money trying to pick up the pieces. As has been the case with dozens of crypto and NFT projects, the space is unfortunately ripe for bad actors to infiltrate projects that start with even the best intentions. Jake the Snake is no longer affiliated with Crypto Zoo, and we hope the money he reappropriated was worth ruining his reputation. Conman Eddie is being investigated by a higher authority that I cannot speak on. As you can imagine, I was not cleared from legal to discuss much of this, including the legal process being undertaken and the criminal investigations going on during the fallout, but I do appreciate you calling out that rats under my nose stole the game code, millions of dollars, and left Jeff and I abandoned with no team and knives in our back. But even after 12 months of work, you've still managed to overlook one crucial
I onda još nakon toga izbacio novi projekt Originals
piece of information. See, even though I've said it's coming so many times, you've assumed that Crypto Zoo isn't being made. Who are you to decide when the development timeline ends? I got everything stolen from me and our community, stopped promoting publicly as soon as I knew the extent of the internal issues, took all of the heat on social, and you still published a defamatory hit piece, fully knowing I was innocent just so you could enrich yourself in your $10 million studio. Sharp, but deeply unethical, dangerously misleading, and illegal. I suggest you use the money you got from pumping your Patreon to hire a good lawyer. You're gonna need it. And maybe we could have talked about this if you had reached out to me, personally. Not my manager, Jeff, who is not me, Steven, but the first time you did was on Christmas Eve after you released your series so you could rely on false statements and unreliable people used recklessly. The subject line was third request for comment. Yeah, not quite. This will be my third time reaching out to you and your team. The first 2 times were through your manager, Jeff. The first 2 times were through your manager, Jeff. Okay, so the last time on Christmas Eve, after the fact, was to me. You have a funny way of twisting things. And I also noticed you left out that part on Twitter. Why hide that? Trust me, Crypto Zoo is coming. I will make damn sure of it. And honestly, it
Pa realno, da, znači kako ćeš ti drugačije stupiti u kontakt sa, kak bi to rekao, nekim jako poznatim influencerom koji ima svoj tim i menadžere i to sve. Znači prvenstveno neš mu se sigurno javiti buraz na Instagram i na, ne znam, nemaš ni broj telefona, nego je javno broj izbačen od tog menadžera, email i kaj već, i normalno da će se javiti preko menadžera. Ne mreš doći do njega, bog te da si Isus. Osim da ti neko da broj.
Sucks that after years of personal reform, going through trials and tribulations, and busting my ass to evolve into a person that I can say I'm actually proud of, you led the charge to drive and monetize a narrative telling millions of people that I'm a fraud or I tried to scam my audience. That is patently false. This video is mainly for my fans and anyone who's on the fence that I hope I can help understand a situation that is tremendously complex but has been oversimplified for both views and clicks. And lastly, COFFEEZILLA. I now know your motives with this. Clout and money, good for you, but also you're slimy as so I'm not going to come on any of your podcasts. If you want to come on Impulsive and talk about this, that's fine. You've denied my invitation multiple times. You're still invited. It can be a one-on-one. If not, we're going to handle this ourselves while we continue to build CryptoZoo, and I'll see you in court.
Bilo bi zanimljivo da frajer dođe na Impulsive. Bilo bi zanimljivo. Nego, imaju ovo. Urez komentari. Idemo na Impulsive.
You look like a piece to the people that are like, yo, this guy sitting on millions of dollars, always trying to get attention, and now he doesn't give a about us, so he's not going to speak out
Till end of December.
Da, to je istina, to je istina. Jesmo spremni? Ja sam preskočio intro.
Lot to cover this episode of Impulsive. If you are tuning in just now and you missed the tail end of December, a lot had happened. I believe the last
30
you
sekundi.
look like a piece to the people that are like, yo, this guy sitting on millions of dollars, always trying to get attention, and now he doesn't give a about us, so he's not going to speak out about it until this other dude's going to speak out, and now this is going to talk now.
Great question.
Very good question.
The answer is heartbreaking, George. I'll get emotional even speaking about it just now, right now, but this is what broke me.
Da.
I'll say something. Welcome back to Impulsive, the #1 podcast in the world. Thank you guys for listening, watching, viewing, subscribing. This episode is long overdue. We are recording it January 2nd, 2023. Welcome to the new year. Happy New Year, everybody. Happy almost birthday, George. You turn 30 tomorrow.
Yeah, last day of my 20s.
Nice. Welcome to 30s Club, buddy. It doesn't get any easier.
Jesus Christ.
Great guy, by the way.
Great guy.
Great guy.
To mi živcira, jer ja mi dalje na istom je sve, ali imaju toliki bas radi ovog mikrofona. Znači, ubija me, ali pojačat ću ja.
And we're going to get into that. Lot to cover this episode of Impulsive. If you are tuning in just now and you missed the tail end of December, a lot had happened. I believe the last Boys Only episode we were on, I said some pretty harsh things to George about his beliefs and religion overall that people were unhappy about. And the following week, a YouTuber named COFFEEZILLA made a 3-part series that he had spent a year making called Investigating Logan Paul's Biggest Scam. That caught a lot of traction. He put a lot of work into it, and it was a very well-made series. Today I'll be going on record for the first time in over a year to talk about the debacle that became CryptoZoo, and then what we're doing to move forward. If you have not seen the video that I also released in tandem today with this episode, it's essentially a statement that I made about the scam allegations and the scam accusations, because that's some pretty serious shit. I take that very seriously. So if you have not watched that video, I ask you to do that first. But it is a little difficult to dive into it because we know you guys watch Impulsive for fun, laughs, giggles, maybe like the guests we have on our show. And today we're going to be talking about some pretty serious stuff. So if you're not tuned into it, maybe this isn't the episode for you, but it's time this stuff is addressed, and today's the episode for that.
I think by mid episode we'll get into some other stuff, but obviously like this has to be handled, and it's been a rocky end of 2022 and a rocky start for the beginning of 2023. I'm sure tremendously for you, but also for anybody on this team. I'm going to try to take the reins of the opposing viewpoint today, as I generally do on the show. I'm going to ask you a lot of questions that may be, I don't know, easy, hard to answer, whatever. Obviously, you asked Coffee to be on. It was something that he didn't want to do.
Can I give context to this situation?
Of course.
Yeah, first off, I don't know what you're going to ask. I haven't seen these questions.
Sure. I know.
Did you send them to him? You sent them to him. And then I'm sure probably maybe you have some. Anyways, let me give some context to this situation. CryptoZoo is a blockchain project that I created about a year and a half ago. And the question everyone's going to be asking is why now? Why talk about this series or this project right now? So again, this YouTuber named COFFEEZILLA released a 3-part series. He spent a year making it, and I'll be honest, it was very good. He is entertaining, and he's a very good storyteller. I mean, essentially, if you're making content on YouTube, I assume it's to get views and to get people watching your stuff. I get what he's doing. If you put my name in the title and you label it Logan Paul's scam, you're going to get more views. The problem with it is that is not true. And I've made tweets here and there stating my case, but I'm going to give some context with the back and forth that I've had with COFFEEZILLA. So here are some receipts. Again, just for context, his name's Steven. The first time he reached out to me was on Christmas Eve after he released his series. He sent a misleading email as highlighted in my statement. He invited me on his show to come talk about CryptoZoo. I chose not to do that because it is now clear to me that he's milking this. Again, why would he not? This is big for him. He caught a lot of traction. He gained like 500,000 subscribers, and I'm sure he got a decent amount of money pumping his Patreon. But I am not interested in feeding into that anymore. So we'll be answering the questions that hopefully he was going to ask me and that you're going to ask me today on this podcast. I invited him on Impulsive multiple times, and he has not responded. My email to him on December 27th was, hey, Steven, saw your tweet. Since this entire narrative has unfolded on your platform, I can't imagine you'd mind having this discussion with me on mine. Of course, we wouldn't monetize. This episode of Impulsive is scheduled for January 2nd in LA. We can consider a neutral location if you respond to this email by the weekend. Best logs. He did not respond to me. So I tweeted that saying I hadn't heard back, so I'd be releasing a statement. And then he sent me an email after I called him out and a text, which I thought was weird, like a cold text. Hey, Logan, recently got your number. This is COFFEEZILLA. I'm forwarding the same message I sent to your email here as well. Hey, Logan, I saw your tweet saying I haven't responded, but that isn't accurate. I asked you for a comment multiple times over the course of a year. You refused. I invited you on my platform. You refused. You invited me on Impulsive. I refused. We're unfortunately at an impasse, so let me try to get us unstuck here because I think people deserve to hear from both of us. I'd like to offer you a co-live streamed interview about CryptoZoo to respond on tomorrow at 10 a.m. PST, so no one has to travel on the holidays, so there's no editing and just us talking one-on-one. This is the most fair and neutral way to do this. I will send you a video link if you agree. Here was my response. I sent him an email after I posted.
Kako se vidi po Loganu, buraz moj da jedva priča o ovome. Da fakat mora paziti šta će reći.
My statement. Hey, Steven, just wanted to put my response to your scam allegations on your radar, linked below. Even though you broke laws, hardly substantiated your evidence, fabricated dangerously misleading falsehoods, and wrongfully accused me of scamming my fans, I'd still love to host you on Impulsive, again, unmonetized. It can even be one-on-one. Sorry, boys. I'm interested in talking about your workflow, creative process, and of course, CryptoZoo. I did get your email 2 days ago after I called out your failure to respond on Twitter regarding the live stream invitation, and you said, I asked you for comment multiple times over the course of a year. You refused. Any proof of that, or is this another lie? I searched my emails and didn't see any outreach from you until Christmas Eve 2022. You scrubbed the blockchain for a living and somehow managed to text my personal phone number yesterday. I can't imagine you didn't know / have my professional email. I do agree people deserve to hear from both of us, but truthfully, now that your motives are clear, I don't feel like feeding into your hunger for clout on your platforms. You've profited off of and gained plenty from me. I've said everything I've needed to say. The rest will be handled legally and on Impulsive with or without you while we continue to build CryptoZoo. The holidays are over, so I look forward to hearing back in a timely fashion this time. My January schedule is packed. Best logs.
Why did you sign off as logs, by the way? There was a lot of shit for that.
I saw that.
Maybe,
I think it's easy to pick apart. Anything I do,
and people are for sure. It's been happening. The entire time.
That's my sign off. I've been signing off like that since high school.
like
my nickname,
like
everyone calls me
floating
Logs.
pieces
Logs. My name is Logan.
Yeah.
My nickname
Yeah,
is
it makes
Log.
sense.
It's like a
Listen, I
friendly-
said I'm going to play the other side. The other side's asking why logs. Can we? Besides all the correspondence, that's a lot of correspondence.
That's where we left off, and I do think it's important because, and if you watch my video, hopefully you're seeing this. The guy is good. He is a very good storyteller, and he is very, very manipulative. Very manipulative, and he's good. He's built an entire career off it. Sometimes he's more impartial than not. I think he probably has an inherent bias against me, which is reflective in his work and in his piece, which unfortunately has repercussions. If you are perpetuating falsehood and it's affecting someone's business and reputation, and it's affecting the wrong person's business and reputation, that person may take action.
So let's right off the bat, as early as possible here, talk about the two definitions and the two things that are at play. One of them being a scam, the other one being defamation, which can be libel or slander. So if someone scams a person or an organization, they deceive them in order to get something valuable for them, especially money. That is the definition of scam. So my first question, and this question was answered in his series, it was a 5-second blip that was a part of a probably hour-long of documentary, filmmaking, was how much money did you make off the sale of the coin? Or off CryptoZoo as a project? How much money did you make?
Yeah, this seems to be the biggest misconception.
Da, 100%.
Disappointing that part was glossed over so quickly. Made no money off CryptoZoo. Never sold the token. Jeff never sold the token. Only lost money trying to make things right, along with everyone else in the project. But no money was made. No tokens were sold. And COFFEEZILLA even said that in his series. So to answer your question.
Pusti natrag Logan kad krene odgovarat na ovo pitanje. Kako nam je šta facu, kako izbede. Da.
No money was made by Jeff or I.
And just back to the flip side really quick. To me, once I heard that seemed just like a kill shot to this entire thing.
Now I'll play the other side.
Sure, and I know what you're going to say. There's a ton more. It's very complex. There's a lot of
No. I empathize. I totally see why people are frustrated. I'm fucking frustrated. I've been frustrated for over a year. So I'll let you keep going. And again, while we made no money on the project, which I think kills the scam narrative immediately, there is more explaining to do.
What was your intent with CryptoZoo as a project?
I really thought it was going to be the next big thing. It was my first foray into creating a project on the blockchain. My intent was to make the next Pokemon, essentially, on the blockchain. It was purely good. I put 7 months of my time, energy, effort, all of it into this project. And when shit hit the fan, it was devastating. It was heartbreaking. I never acted with malintention. I mean, again, like what was?
Al Buraz, to je istina i Boga, ali gle koliko vrijede te kartice, Buraz, kaj si ti lud. Makar meni to ništa nema smisla, ali dobra je.
Was the intent to make money? I mean, I guess maybe eventually. Like if you're running a business, I'd assume any intent is to make money off of it. But like, did we ever capitalize financially off of this? Absolutely fucking not.
For people that aren't aware, can you describe the dynamic between the token and the game?
Okay. So the idea was this. Yeah, maybe I should give some context to what the game is. So you buy these eggs on the blockchain and you can hatch them into what are called base animals. I think there were like 14 or 15 of them. And then you can breed your base animals with each other to create fun looking viral hybrid offspring that have a rarity scale. If you hatch a rare animal and you breed it with another rare animal, and it yields a rare hybrid animal, that animal then yields and collects a token the longer you hold it. Then when you release it into the wild, you accrue your yield. Does that make sense? That was the concept.
Got it.
And it was.
Gle, realno, ideja je fakat dobra. Dobra ideja da ono... Frajer u biti napravio, jer znaš onaj, kak se zove, nije Tamagotchi, nego ono, se sjećaš Buraz, onaj, kak se to zvao, jebote, svaki put zaboravim. Isto kaj si trebao šejkat cijelo vrijeme, morao se šejkat to jaje i onda dobiš tog neku bebu čudovište, nešto, ko Pokemona malog. To je bilo ono u osnovnoj školi, Buraz, bili su ti, ne znam, bijeli sa ljubičastim, bijeli sa crnim, izgledao ti je ko mali Toki Voki, ono. Da, je, to je užas, to je užas. Ali nije Tamagotchi, Rudi, nije Tamagotchi. Tamagotchi sasvim neka druga priča. Ovo je bilo nešto... Jo, kako se to zvalo, jebote. Nije Tamagotchi, nema veze s Tamagotchijem. Možda ako izgooglam tu ću vidjeti. Thousands. Ali nije bilo veze. Nije, nema veze sa Tamagotchijem. Nema veze sa Tamagotchi. Tipa, ajmo reći da je ovakvog dizajna i sad ti tu gore ovak ima jednu ovak antenicu s kojom si se mogo spojiti sa drugim koji je imao taj i mogo si tradat, ja mislim, tog monstera ili kaj već. I trebao si ga cijelo vrijeme ovak šejkat. I unutra je bila neka kuglica koja se baš čula da se šejka, Buraz. I morao si to šejkat, Buraz, ono, po cijele dane. Čekaj. Toys similar to Tamagotchi. Buraz, kad vidim to odmah ću ti reći kaj je bilo. Slično ko ovom, ali nije. Buraz, evo, dam se tle da ću to tu naći. Znam da sam to jednom tražio, buraz i našao sam, ali sad... Ma nema Boga zapravo da to tu nađem. Nema Boga. Nice.
Was based off the idea that
Yeah, that Beyblade
people
flyer.
could create these fun animals that didn't exist, and this was another part of CryptoZoo that got ripped apart.
To je bilo
People
prije
seem to,
Beyblade-a.
people seem to really discount the art, which I felt truthfully wasn't fair.
Logan. A ne, buraz. Čizlalo je ko... Ne. Buraz, jebo mene pasak, ja to još uvijek nemam, ne ide na Vixi, je u nekoj kutiji. Nije Bakugan. Tamo.
I was kind of in the middle on that one. It was
Do
very
you know how,
okay.
do you
It was
know how
very
hard
basic.
It is?
Yes, I
Do you
know.
know how hard it is
and let me
to merge animals that do exist into an animal that doesn't exist and make it look like.
Jesi ti čuo kaj on rekao, buraz? Kaj on tu rekao, frajer je spojio... Neću uopće komentirati.
A real animal.
I'm gonna ask you-
I'll just say it right now, bro. If you take an animal from CryptoZoo and like a fucking picture of a monkey wearing a hat and go ask like someone on the street, like, hey, which of these is more captivating to you? Something tells me the animal that doesn't exist that looks like a real hybrid animal is probably gonna win.
Even if someone out there is skeptical or hesitant to call it some sort of insane artistic expression, they at least probably have to agree that it.
Buraz, da kažeš Nikoli da spoji, ne znam, magarca i majmuna, buraz, izgledalo bi milijardu puta bolje, buraz, nego kaj su ovi napravili.
Falls within industry, like in the area of industry standards for NFTs at the time. I mean, look at some of the other projects. I mean, shout out Gary, but like, dude, like Gary's.
How dare you?
I'm
Do
just
not
saying, bro.
Fucking insult V friends.
Or Doodles or whatever. I mean, whatever project you want to bring up.
That's
right
why
now,
I
whether it's apes or whatever.
That's why I found this argument a little. I felt wasn't quite fair. I'll listen to him, but like, man, if you were to interview and ask my artist what they thought of people just ripping their work to shreds, and by the way, some of them do this. Some of them are like post actively on Reddit hybrid animals, and the hybrid animals thread on Reddit is hilarious and has a bunch of likes and people commenting on it. But the moment that I say it's something that I'm doing, it doesn't work in that context.
I think it was shined in a bad light. I think if it didn't have the negative outline on it, people wouldn't.
No. That was the first critique that happened.
Sure.
I actually have I want to ask you something. Again, I'm just throwing out other people's point of views. I'm not trying to stick a.
No, you should.
Okay, well, I'm gonna stick it into you. When I'm looking at this from my point of view, bro, I think you guys are kind of like you're seeing it from your guys' point of view, which is.
Di ti nalaziš ove emoji sa cigarama, ne kužim. Kaj ja to imam, jebate, ili su to neki default?
Because it's your point of view, and you are not a scammer. You don't hurt people. You don't do these type of things, so it's gonna affect your.
Jesi čuo kaj je rekao? Znam da ti nisi skemer, da ti to ne radiš ljudima.
Because you didn't do that. And for the world to look at you in that type of way, it's very drowning. It feels like you can't breathe because people are already painting you out to be something you're not. But put a pin in that. Over here are people that root for you, that look at you like somebody they want to be like, they want to achieve like. And so when they invested in your project, and they're remember, they don't have our lifestyle, so they're working paycheck to paycheck, paycheck to paycheck. So when they go, fuck yeah, Logan's involved in this, I know it's going to win because I've watched this guy win, and I want to be like this fucking guy. So I'm going to invest my hard-earned money. From their point of view, I get your guys' point of view because you're dealing with a legal team, you're dealing with all the people that did you wrong. But from their stance, they go, how dare you go and open up 2 other projects when I just wasted my hard-earned money on something that I believed you would do. So this is a point of view that they don't care what you feel like and what COFFEEZILLA feels like. They want to demand answers for their own money.
100%.
So what do you say to the people that watched you make the project where you're taking pictures and all the other projects? Yep. How does it feel for you in your seat where your team's saying, hey, shut up, don't bring this up. We're going to bring this back in the future and all the answers will be explained. How does it feel knowing that you couldn't speak up in time and now you look like this villain, and no disrespect, you look like a piece of shit to the people that are like, yo, fuck this guy sitting on millions of dollars, always trying to get attention. And now he doesn't give a fuck about us, so he's not going to speak out about it until this other fucking dude's going to speak out. And now this cocksucker is going to talk now.
Great question.
Very good question.
The answer is fucking heartbreaking, George. I'll get emotional even speaking about it just now, right now, but this is what broke me. People relied on me.
Mislim, zanimljivo, Kikus. Zanimljivo je u tome zato što je ovo jedan od većih influencera na YouTube-u. Sad zamisli, jel znaš ko je Nugato? Evo, ajmo tako. On je sad izbacio neki svoj NFT projekt. Nugata, znaš. Evo, znači, zamisli sad Nugata kak izbacio ovaj svoj NFT projekt i sad skema ljude. I sad je zaskemao sve svoje viewere, buraz. Nugato ti je, buraz, hrvatski top youtuber. Evo, live je sad.
Čumolija under palac.
Ovo mi je čudno da ga gleda sam 2700 ljudi na CS-u, ali dobro. I sad, da, i zamisli da digne pun kurac para i skemuje sve svoje viewere, buraz. Sve ove tu, buraz, koji ima tu 573.000 ljudi. Ajmo reći, ma pola od toga, ajmo reći. Ko je uložio? Eto, ista stvar.
To create a project, and when shit wasn't working out and I found out the extent of just how bad things were behind the scenes, I had to rely on my team. I crumbled internally, and the advice was, while...
To je istina i bog, to je istina i bog. Nugato je fakat jeben lik. Pogotovo, evo, baš sam nedavno pogledao opet onaj video, buraz, gdje onom klincu dao za Battle Pass i to, buraz, fakat, mislim, ja bi to napravio, realno, svi bi to napravili, ali ispalo je tak kak je.
Legal process was going on because of criminal investigation taking place that COFFEEZILLA highlighted.
Da, ovo je čista drama, buraz, čista drama.
And for a fucking year, I'm hounding Jeff. How do we make this right? What's the status of the game?
Pogotovo to, da, kaj su ga cancelali, buraz, zbog onog videa u Japanu kaj je snimio. Nakon toga svega ispričao se bla bla bla, prestao uploadat videe, ovo ono bla bla bla, vratio se na scenu kao jeben lik, dao nadu ljudima opet, da ga ljudi gledaju, opet ti digo viewere, buraz, za još više nego što je imao i sad se ovo desi, buraz.
But they don't see that. They don't see that. That's crazy.
The engineer stole the code. who was hired by a fucking con man, a guy that I found out to be a con man, a guy that I had trusted, not just a guy that I had trusted, a guy that billionaires had trusted, a guy that fooled the Mormon Church and the New York Yankees. And now in hindsight, 1 + 1 = fucking 2. I get that. And the advisor, again, that I trusted was selling against my buyers, people that actually wanted to play this game. It was like a mountain. It was like a mountain that collapsed one after the other after the other. This massive forest fire would come up. I thought we put it out, and then something else would happen, and something else would happen. And then my legal team goes, yo, there is criminal investigation going on. It is best to stay silent at this moment.
Mm. So I have another question. I understand your point of view because I'm your friend. I actually was with you when you found out, and I saw how like your face turned white and you slid up against the fridge when you found out.
Upravo to, pogotovo ako se radi o milionima, buraz, nije to 10.000 kuna. I 10.000 kuna je puno. Nismo više s kuna, pa sad su s eurima, ali sve jedno, kužiš.
I was there, so that's why I could boldly with my chest out be like, bro, I watched when this guy found the news.
Buraz, nije mi sve jedno uplatiti 100 kuna na super sportu, jebote, na Hrvatsku protiv ne znam koga, ono. Čem pričamo?
But fuck COFFEEZILLA, fuck you, no joke. What do we do for the people that were fucked?
I and my team, Jeff, and I'd like you to sit in, Jeff, are working. We are at work and have been working to make this game. And that's part of the solution. Deliver the fucking project, right? And that's never stopped. There have been massive road.
Ajde dajem primjer da sam ja tak nešto pravio di ću tu skemat Kikusa i tebe, buraz. Kaj ne bi to nikad napravio, naravno, ali opet, frajeru, tu imaš 4,3 miliona ljudi na impulsivu i još na svom akauntu imaš, ti si jebem ti život. Imaš 23,6 miliona ljudi. Di je Instagram, di je TikTok, di je Twitter, di je ovo, di je ono.
Road bumps and massive obstacles along the way. But that was always the prerogative. COFFEEZILLA making a series or not, the game is being made. He just assumed we gave up on it, which is not.
Upravo to, da. Znači, rekao bi da se desila situacija, da se neš dešava, da radi investigation, šta već, i ispričao bi se ljudima, buraz moj, ako ništa, buraz vratio bi pare. Realno.
Which is not true.
To isto, buraz, ajmo sad dat primjer, jebate, ne znam, meni sad tu neko donira 1000 kuna, htio donirat 100 kuna. I napiše mi na stream, frajeru, fakat sorry, ono, ne se ljutit, ali ono, donirao sam ti previše, nisam htio to. Buraz, vratio bi mu pare, jebote. Makar mi možda i piše da ne vraćam pare, ali za tak neke stvari, mislim, ono, pare, jebote, od para živiš u pičku materinu, ono, na kraju svega.
However, the answer is yes, George. I'm not a fucking scammer. I have the best intentions, and I will make this right for the people who believed in me. You know how adamant I was about fixing all of this and making this right.
I to jest ne bi mu vratio samo toliko koliko mi je rekao, nego bi mu sve vratio, buraz.
And for a year I was told I couldn't say anything. And then COFFEEZILLA series came out, and I fucking called you guys, and I said, I'm making a statement. I don't give a fuck.
Yep.
I spent days writing this thing. Figuring out how I could poke the obvious holes in COFFEEZILLA's defamation and arguments and manipulation of this story, because at the end,
Coffee doesn't verify backgrounds, says the guy who literally hired multiple criminals. This is not the face same episode you thought it will be. Also, if you take this to court, it opens you up to discovery which for probably in your whole life. Pa upravo to, da.
He told a story. Some of it's true, some of it's not. I don't know what to believe from his stuff, and I don't know what not to believe. I found out stuff. I found out things watching his series. Like, dude, I was at the airport when I watched the part where he said Jake's had stolen.
Of course.
I
was like, what?
$6 million. I don't know if that's true or not, but I knew he was a bad actor, hence why we kicked him off the fuck.
Kurac, kak ti ne možeš znat da li je neko ukro tvoje pare praktički? Kak ti to ne možeš, znači tvoj projekt, bog te jebo. Kak ne možeš znati, jel... Čem pričamo?
Fucking team immediately when we found out he was only in it for the
His
money.
prerogatives, yeah. Things fucking fell apart from Zach to trying to find new devs, realizing that our first lead dev couldn't perform, and then realizing that now there's an investigation going on.
But it's also, you have to understand that it's not simple. I mean, he's trying to bridge the gap here between protecting his client, protecting a project that he's been a part of, you know, getting out whatever information is possible. I've said this he's been a part of, you know, getting out whatever information is possible, protecting a project that he's been a part of, you know, getting out whatever information is possible. I've said this a million times. The internet loves to oversimplify very fucking complex issues.
On top of the complex issue that we dealt with, which were issues with people, the blockchain technology, and this is something that's brand new, and what Logan ideated in his head of a really cool idea is actually somewhat complex.
Pazi kaj ti kažem, ja imam neki osjećaj da će ovaj George odjebati te cijele ekipe. 100%. 100%.
Complex.
Which is, by the way, hard for me to swallow.
Okay,
I have a vision and an idea of these things, and then I say, Jeff, here's what I want.
Ja mislim da fakat George je tu jedini pozitivac od njih tu troje i da shvaća zapravo šta se tu behind the scenes dešava. Ne znam. I da će frajer odjebat i da će sam prestati se pojavljivati kod Logana i ovih i onih. I tu na Impulsivu. Pazi kaj ti kažem. 100%.
I want to make, here's what I want to do, and then people are put in place to attempt to make that happen. And when it was found out that either A, they had ill intent, or...
Niš, on je u svojoj briji nekoj. Ne znam kaj se desilo. Fakat ne znam.
B, were incapable of doing it, and then shit really hit the fan.
Evan.
What do I do? What do I do?
I actually have an answer for that. When you're on the top rope at WWE and you're going like this after a crazy show and the audience is going crazy, when you're bringing Prime into the table and people are drinking it, being like, how the fuck is this product this good? When you're doing these absolute, like, we're watching a superhero kill these side quests day after day after day after day, none of these quests would be completed without your team. And when you win, we celebrate together. What I need this team to start doing is when you guys take a dip, you got to stop pointing the fingers at each other.
When all this broke, when we were in Qatar, I'll kind of remember this. We were in the spa one day, and I saw the pain in your, and this, like I said, this is not going to turn into a fucking victim thing. I just want to point this out. I saw this pain in your face, bro, and this like emptiness in your fucking eyes when all this was breaking. And I remember thinking to myself, having been through a couple things, very minor in comparison to the ones you've gone through and are going through now, where I was railroaded by the internet on something that just simply wasn't true. I've been through a chunk of shit in my life, but I honestly don't know if I recall feeling like that. The feeling of not being able to say, yo, this is not what happened. You guys have it wrong. Even though you and everyone around you knows that you're being fucked and being railroaded by an incomplete or unsubstantiated story is one of the most painful fucking things in the entire world. It's
where
terrible.
Coffee fucked up is by targeting me as some malicious, evil supervillain. If he had told this story objectively and told the story without vilifying me, regardless, we're still making this right. But in my opinion, that's where it got twisted and hurt the most. Dude, I'm sitting in the seat solely because of my fans. I love them. I'll take any picture you want, unless I'm at dinner. That's my one rule. I'll take any picture you want.
Now you better get your ass up. You better wipe your face and get up. That might be the rule.
I'll listen to the feedback. I'll see it. I want to put smiles on you guys' faces. It's why I do what I do. I love being able to come on these platforms and express myself every week. And it fucking hurts that mission statement that I've had since I was.
Znaš kaj ja zapravo mislim sad? On zna da je sjebo. On zna da je sjebo tu cijelu spiku, sam ne želi to priznat i na kraju svega toga će on napraviti nešto dobro od toga svega. Moje neko mišljenje, barem.
8 fucking years old.
Sam ne želi priznat da je on kriv za sve to.
Posting online was tainted by this dude who had an agenda, who is normally very good at his job, but had an agenda.
I think this is sadly the only direction you could take. Take this really fucking hard on the chin. Learn from your mistakes. Learn that you have to.
I mean, George, we did.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. So it's kind of like the Johnny Depp thing. Like he had to kind of eat shit for a long time until the truth came out. And so right now you have to go into this either court, but regardless, the jury is the audience.
Yep.
And so I'm trying to bridge that way to show your reality. And your reality is the same dude that would turn to me and drop a $500,000 deal with somebody because he goes, I don't eat fast food. I'm not promoting fast food. So if you were money hungry, you wouldn't give a fuck if it was hurting anybody. You would take the money.
It is shocking to me that motherfuckers think I'm out here in Puerto Rico with a cork board.
A to je istina, da, to je istina.
Graphic images going, here's how we're gonna scam. This is how I'm gonna make my $1 million this time, motherfucker. We're gonna I'm not even
sounds like a meat. Sounds like a meat. No, it sounds like a meat.
Logan Paul admits to everything COFFEEZILLA said.
Bro, Jake, I was talking to Jake about this over Christmas break. I'm glad I got some time to spend with my brother. And he's like, I was like, are you aware of what's happening right now? And he goes, dude, I skipped past the video. He's like, I know you didn't fucking scam anyone. And I go,
Nisam to vidio.
Everyone thinks I did.
Well, this is what I see, and I could be completely wrong. Biting off more than you chew is kind of almost there, but I don't see it being complete because you're doing things that people don't do. So I don't expect you to stop doing what your nature is to do, and you want to see that new country that's not there or build that thing that's not there. The only thing that would just make a tweak of a difference is you're so creative that you're like, here's the idea, here's the process, here's the vision. Now this person's gonna do this, this person's gonna do this. I'm gonna move on, and you're a creative. So all I would say is now is just like those the dev team. Pick one person that is your right hand and make sure that person is every day. If this guy shits or eats a sandwich at lunch, I want to fucking know.
I mean, George, again, we did. It's part of the reason Originals worked so well. We found the guy and he's fucking good. And we found a team that we can actually rely on to get things done.
Most important.
And then also that was a learning process for me because Originals is a relatively easy project. I think it's easy to understand anyways, right?
Yeah.
One picture
not
goes
easy build.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. One picture goes
So
live a day. It's a 24-hour auction. The next goes up. This thing took months to build, and there were so many delays, and I was frustrated with the build. But
again,
as is always going to be the case,
sure,
Jeff,
I'd
because
take it.
I'm reporting directly to you, and you're reporting directly to me.
Of course. But
it was a learning for me in that. Fuck, dude, tech is hard. Holy fucking shit. I remember ESPN was down the one time we were trying to watch one of the biggest fights ever.
No.
What?
Tennis.
The
US Open.
US Open. ESPN was down. ESPN Plus or whatever the fuck. And Jeff goes, hey, just so you know, this is ESPN. It's one of the biggest content syndication organizations in the world. And they don't even have this shit down.
But we also also don't know whether it was the tech that was sending it into ESPN or was it ESPN?
The point is tech is hard. Tech is hard. I realized that and learned that the hard way. And so, yeah, I guess to kind of answer your question, I'm a lot more cognizant now of exactly how hard it is to make the stupid little visions that I have in my head come to life.
Okay, so wrapping this up for at least, I think, right? For now. because I'm just curious what else is there's going to be about this, like where this goes, where this story goes once it's been determined that there was not malintent, a scam did not take place. There was a misfire or some sort of, you know, malpractice on behalf of some of the people involved in the project who will be held accountable, and there is a plan moving forward. Does it sound like those are the 4 main pillars of what's happening here?
Exactly. I would say there's been a plan moving forward.
A roadmap.
Yeah. COFFEEZILLA happened to make this series and in
the middle of it.
And now it appears reactionary, but this has been happening. So that's where the defamation piece comes into play, which is number 5 and 6. We've given Zilla part 4. He's probably gonna milk the shit out of this. He's probably gonna talk to more people who lost money. And that's where this also gets tricky, because I'm not sure what he's fabricating or if people are genuine about what they're saying, because he doesn't verify backgrounds or, like I said, substantiate any evidence. So he's probably gonna put people who have lost here on a pillar and highlight them. That's what I would do if I were him. I'd milk the shit out of this, and like I said, he's probably going to. He's good. He's very good. But part 6 is the more he says and the more he continues to spread this misinformation that this was any sort of con or scam, the more I have for the lawsuit that I am filing. The defamation lawsuit. That is fucking happening, because this is wrong. This is fucking wrong. And there's a reason. There's a reason he won't come on this show. And he knows it's because he can't lie to me with his chest out while sitting in front of me.
And saying that you are a scammer. You are a
Dog.
What about the people that say, like, why don't you just do it live on his platform?
I am not feeding into this anymore on his shit, because he did not change the course of my direction at all. He happened to make this series. It's not changing what we have been doing and are doing behind the scenes.
Yeah.
What he did do is got me to speak about it. And I'm actually grateful for that.
I was about to say, this is kind of like a good light, because
I'm actually grateful for that. I do thank COFFEEZILLA for shining a light on what even he highlighted and made in his year's worth of research in a 3-part series, is that this situation is so fucked, so beyond fucked. You could make an entire documentary out of it. In fact, he did. But now I'm in a place where I actually do have to thank him for shining light on this. He just messed up by pointing the finger 100% at me in saying that there was any sort of fraud or scam taking place intentionally. Not even taking place intentionally, just taking place on my behalf.
Why did you block him on Twitter?
It's like a little gnat. It's like a little fucking annoying gnat, and it bothers me. He won. He got to me, bro. He's the most formidable opponent I've had. I'm not kidding. The guy's good. He's very smart. He's very smart. He manipulates and twists the truth just the way he wants to get his people to believe a certain thing. He's good.
I think
it's
Dobar je zato što govori istinu, buras.
It's marketing in a way, hiding behind the veil of, I don't make money off this platform. I'm doing God's work. I'm doing justice, by the way. Go sign up to my Patreon. Go join my Patreon. We're gonna see the behind the scenes of my $10 million studio. $10 million studio. You got $10 million? Where did that money come from? I don't think so, pal.
I think he might be saying that sarcastically.
Or he rented it.
So you're saying he embellished or like rounded up?
No, I think he just says it sarcastically. It's like a joke.
It's in his descriptions on his Patreon, which I joined. He kicked me off though.
He refunded your money.
It's actually funny. He said he kicked me off, and he had a couple zingers on Twitter. He kicked me off and was like, "Who knows where that money came from?"
Oh, I'm gonna be honest. You got washed. You've been getting washed.
He smoked me.
Washed on Twitter.
I'm telling you, he's fucking good. He's a very formidable opponent.
Yes,
if I were him and I didn't like me in the same way that he doesn't like me, and also realizes how much he can gain from putting me in his thumbnail and his title, I'd probably be doing the same thing.
Okay, question, and just to bring this up because I think it's a good transition point. Regardless of how strong his point was, or some of the points he made, or how he was able to spin it, whatever you want to say, or whoever wants to say it, there is always and will always be an army that is ready for Logan Paul to make a minor mistake. Now, it was so timely and convenient that the 3-part series dropped when you were already boiling in an unholy baptism of shit because of what you had said on the show before it.
Let me tell you something.
And so I want to change gears a little bit. Look at
this guy.
And get ready.
And to quote Logan Paul, present thyself.
Because yes,
I want to.
well, you very much are Germany right now fighting a two-pronged battle. I mean, you've got your battle in Africa and Russia, and you've got a different front where you're fighting for Jeff. When you make that face at me when I'm saying stuff, it's strange to me. Actually, do you have anything else to say about CryptoZoo?
Trying to understand.
Get out of here. I'm talking, bro, and you're making this face like this.
Africa and Russia.
Do you know what a two-front war is?
Yeah.
Am I speaking a different language?
I just was okay.
I'm kidding. Sorry, I was joking.
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
Why
That
did
was-
you-
I didn't. I was just
I was trying to understand what he was talking about.
Seat's hot, huh?
Okay, let's dive in.
Okay.
Look, here's what happened.
So yeah, you were already, I mean, the scum of the internet at that point. Before this even came out, you were trash. It was a wrap.
I'll tell you why. If you didn't know, you probably do.
Nebitno, to je to. To je to, sad je tu Voice se ispričava Georgeu, bla bla bla. Logan's emotional note, New Year's resolution i Prime Energy, klasika. Pičku lava. Koje drame, bog te. Warzone, a? Nisam ni upalio Discord, evo te da vidim. Jel ko live? Ću mene live, online. E pa čekaj, Marko mi se javio za... Si tu, Marko? Ne znam gdje je Marko. Kikus jebote, šta ste vi dlali za ovaj Rainbow Six Siege? Rainbow Six Siege. Mouse. Stuck on screen. Evo buraz. Jel taj problem? Da ne mre micat lijevo desno napred nazad, to je gore dole lijevo desno. So all you have to do is try to get killed. All means 5 jebote. Na malo. About to finish. Now you have to spam escape button plus option. Using mouse as fast as you can. And you're stuck here. Eto, jeste pogledali taj video? You have to die at the beginning of the round, just don't try to fix the bug at the beginning of the round, because maybe the rounds take more than 2 minutes and you'll get kicked because you'll be stuck at the menu. Hope you got it. How about us? How to fix problems with Timmy. At the same time, press the option with your mouse. This should solve your mouse. Evo Boras. Znači treba samo spamat escape i s desnim klikom brzo tići na options i to je to. Trajno gledati streama. Dalje CS. Kaj Teo radi? PUBG frajer igra.
Nađem supresa kad ono AR, a jebata led.
Ko igra s njim?
Oho, negdje ispred mene lik. Ne, ispred mene se razbili.
Frajer ima jebene videe. Jebene opise videa. Ne znam kaj da igram jebote pas. A ne znam kaj bi igrao Kikos. Čekaj da vidim nešto prvo, samo malo. Da? Jel ima za jedan TV livestream online? Ko hrti? Ima.
Mislim da ne može ovo ostati na ovome. Jesi očekivao više?
Kan, brate, šta ti kažeš, to će biti. Riječi ti se pozlatile, šta god slijedi.
Pa, isto, znači, otvoren si za sve opcije.
Jesam.
Pa ta opcija znači da imamo jedno posebno za tebe, The Last Supper se zove.
Porazlava.
Večera, ovako, figure of speech, neki bi rekli. Treba to znati otvoriti. Aha, dobro. Se kad vidim ovaj hazard, ovaj naš. Gledaj.
Već vidim da ću plakat,
Imamo za tebe taj zadnji deb, da jednostavno nadam se da ćeš u njemu naći svog find your match, svog suparnika i da ćeš ipak otići doma i biti ljut na nas, jer je ljuto. Moramo dobro promučkat. Izvoli, prijatelj.
Hvala ti lijepo. A šta je curio tu cijelo vreme?
Pa da, pa baš glavno, vjerujem, Buraz, 2023. smo jebate, ekipa mi streama, čak ne u 720, nego u 480. Buraz, to je za mobitel mala rezolucija već. Ali Kikus, znaš kaj ću, idem vidjeti samo za ovaj Spidermana.
Ima okus, ne znam na što me podsjeća.
Kako će izgledat na kompu sa kontrolama.
Znači, šta god bilo, kako god završilo, respekt se mora dati, gdje je respekt zaslužen.
Dobro, ne tresu mi se.
Dok ti radi još, dok se
ovaj
dok počinje nalaziti svoje mjesto u svom tijelu, tvom tijelu, evo ga, molim te, pogledaj u ovu tu lijepu kameru i daj nekakav finalni rezime i poruku svim našim gledateljima.
Od multiplayer igrice, pa imam ih dosta.
Objasni tu životu, poruči neku poruku koju im želiš dati.
Ljudi, došla je nova godina, 2023. Probajte biti barem 2023 puta bolji nego što ste bili prošle. I to je to. Ljubim vas, volim vas, meni je bilo jako zabavno, emisija je super, umaci su show. Ovo tu, ne znam kako se može zvati umakom, ali ajde, ajmo reći da je umak. I to je to, pozdrav svima, evo ga.
Štiborac.
Hvala, dosta.
Aha, piše tvoje ime, a? Režija, Rodolf Crnko. Grafika i animacija, Rodolf Crnko. Scenografija, Rodolf Crnko.
Silom smo ušli u novu godinu. Ja ću piti ovo sve, zanemaram šta on govori.
Pa preuzeo si cijeli tih ljutih 9, jedet. Ovo je brutalan thumbnail, a? Kak se zove? Ne znam kaj si htio pitat, jebat. Da, jel su oni to snimali, vi ste to snimali prije, jel da? I onda je to tek sad live. Vi ste u biti sad snimili cijelu sezonu, samo što je puštate, ili? Kako to ide jebat? Druga sezona, da, to znam da je druga sezona. Aha, znači snimate u ponedjeljak, ti editiraš utorak, šalješ im u srijedu i oni... Koji danas dan, bog te. Aha, ne, znači snimate u ponedjeljak, ti editiraš utorak, pošalješ im i onda oni to u srijedu stave... Da. Znači u ponedjeljak se snima, ti montiraš eventualno ponedjeljak navečer ili ujutro, nebitno, pošalje se taj isti dan kad se izeditira i onda oni to provuku kroz rendering do srijede i u srijedu je na live. A vama bi bilo možda bolje, Buraz, da vi prvo snimite tipa sezonu i onda tipa mjesec ili dva prije završetka te sezone njima već pošaljete onak pola sezone da imaju unaprijed. Mislim čisto ono vremenski, no? Da ste već ono barem pola sezone unaprijed. Jer ako se nešto ono desi da ste u nemogućnosti to da niste kratki s vremenom, nek da samo ono imate lufta pa par epizoda, no? A di ste? Koji kurac? Mogu ga jest ljuto buraz, ispitivat ću ja ljude, aj. Aha. Kužim. Da, ali, znaš kaj ti hoću reći, što ste vi trebali od početka tako raditi? Sad nema smisla to sad raditi tako. Jer da ste radili tako od početka, da ste prvo snimili pola sezone i da ste tih, ajmo reći, dajem primjer, imate šest epizoda imate u pola sezone i nakon te 6 epizode ste počeli izbacivati prvu epizodu i nastavljate od prve epizode snimat 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 epizodu. I kad dođete na 6. epizodu izlazi 7. I kad 7. izlazi vi već ste u drugoj sezoni, buraz prvu epizodu snimate. I onda tak cijelo vrijeme izbacujete. A nema kiku sveze ovo sa Z1. Oni su na Z1 tek sad od ove sezone. To ti sve, kužim ja to, mislim svi vi... To meni ide na živce kod tih firmi, općenito firmi, i pa sam, radi, hoće sam izbacivati što brže, buraza nema nikakvog plana. I onda kad ponestane vremena, kad se nešto desi, niko ne računa u biti da se nešto može loše desiti, da utječe na tu proizvodnju nečega. I onda kad se to desi, onda je problem. Ne bi bio problem da se to unaprijed sve riješilo i gledalo na te probleme. Ma dobro, neka samo ide buraz. Ovo je jebeno što je na Z1 TV-u. Polako, prvo sa Z1, pa daj Bože može ići na radio jebote. Ne znam jeste o tome razmišljali. Na radio isto može biti podcasti. Ja u biti ne znam da li ima naših radija koji imaju podcaste realno. To treba vidjeti. Kako niste imali ženu, imali ste onu curu, a ne, to nije bio Ljutih 9. To je Sukre imao na intervju. Podcasti su postala jako popularna stvar na internetu. Da se toga dosta dobrih stvari napraviti. Sam treba kažem. To si dobro rekao, prolazi vrijeme podcasta u Americi. U biti ne. Da, u biti prolazi, ljudi već znaju da prolazi vrijeme podcasta jer Istina, da. Čekaj, s čim prvobitna ideja rooftopa meni nije bila jasna. Oko čega se taj kanal zapravo prvobitno htio bazirati? A nije da te boli briga, buraz, nego jednostavno ne stigneš ti pogledat podcast od sat i po. Kao na Instagramu onaj kompleks. Pa dobro, da, koliko sam skužio, tu je sad samo buraz, ovaj lutih 9 se bazira na tome, ne rooftop. U biti samo dio rooftopa se bazira na tome, a to je lutih 9 koji u biti drži rooftop cijeli. Buraz, za ovo. Ziher još igraš taj Fallout 4, buraz, igrica iz 2010. Zake izbor, koji ti je kurac? Build the best PlayStation experience.
Up until about a year ago, my life was pretty normal. I lived in the greatest place ever. Brooklyn. Represent. Had 2 cool parents, and loved all things science and superheroes. Everything changed, though, when my dad was killed in the City Hall bombing.
Idem vidjeti samo kak je sa mišem i tipkovnicom igrati.
They were there for me. And so was Spider-Man, who I later found out was Pete. Crazy, right? Then when the Devil's Breath crisis started, things got intense. It seemed like all of Spidey's villains were on the loose. I managed to do my part to help him out. And after all that, believe it or not, a spider bit me. And I started to change. I didn't want to worry my mom, so I went to Pete. And now, we're officially Spider Bros. He's been training me up, and I'm actually getting pretty good with this whole web swinging thing. I'm still learning to juggle this responsibility with everything else in my life. School, friends, a new home. I moved to Harlem a few weeks back. But I'll tell you, I can't wait to see what the future holds.
Ti si prso, buraz. Aj ćemo na 7, aj. Start, aj, start. Kužiš ljudi, to ste trebali napraviti sa rooftopom, jebote svojih ljutih 9. Zakaj ne napravite live na YouTube-u? To je jebena brija, buraz. Buraz, jebena je grafika. Da je tak mirno u Brooklynu u pravom životu, a?
That is so cool. I got you. Hey, thanks. No problem. Hey, you think you're gonna add that new Spider-Man too?
The kid? Yeah, maybe. Original's just my guy, you know?
Yeah, I know. Hey, is Teo's Bodega around here?
Yeah, bright yellow sign down the block. Can't miss it.
Thanks. Beautiful work, by the way. Maybe leave a little room for the new guy, just in case.
Doslovno. Buraz, ja jedva čekam.
securing a couple inmates. Bet it feels good seeing the guys who escaped last year going back to the raft. Real good.
Ovo je cool.
The raft's an eyesore, but it's secure. As long as the octopus-related flaws have been fixed. Let's hope.
Jedva čekam buraz GTA 6.
Be there soon.
Koji 25 milijardi ljudi.
Hey, Mom. Yeah, but the bodega was out of coconut milk. Gonna check a store downtown.
Oh, thank you. But
Ja
avoid
trebam tu.
Midtown. That prison convoy is making traffic a nightmare.
Oh yeah, good call. See you at dinner, Mom. Man, how does Pete do this secret identity thing? Completely stresses me out.
Buraz, ovo je prejebeno. Ma nije, 3-4 godine, brijem da će ove godine neki trailer neki izaći, 100%. Sigurno.
Okay, be cool. Be cool. Helping Spider-Man protect a giant prison convoy? You can handle this. Breathe in, breathe out. Be cool.
Buraz, ovo tak jebeno izgleda.
Pete, you here? Just down in some
Pa
rock
kužiš.
pool. How are you drinking?
Very, very carefully. Okay, go time.
Helix 2 en route with heavy payload.
Copy, Helix 2, we've got you on scope.
This is a big operation.
It's gotta be. Hundreds of felons escaped from the raft.
Buraz me je
last
tak
year.
spava.
Now it's time to move them back in. Police aren't taking any chances, especially not with our guest of honor.
Getting a lot of interference here.
One of those guys who helped Doc Ock is in there?
Think so. Could be Vulture, could be Scorpion, could be someone bigger. Okay, we got a problem. Hold back, Miles. Let me take.
I got this, Pete. Don't worry.
Miles, no!
It's secure.
You're drifting, Helix 2.
Miles!
We have a weight imbalance.
Kak izgleda ovo na streamu?
Rudder's unresponsive. Brace for impact. Helix 2 going down.
Helix 2 is going down.
Brace, brace, brace. Helix 2 is down. No casualties.
Nije onak pikselasto je to, a?
Response team dispatched. Sit tight, Helix 2.
Pete, I'm sorry, man. I didn't mean to.
It's okay. We got this. Just need to contain it before. Before that happens.
Hello, tiny spiders.
Miles, I've got Rhino, but you have to contain the escapees. Right. Contain. I'm on it. He's never gonna trust me on a mission like this again.
Nice work with the helicopter, kid.
Real heroic stuff. Hey guys, how about we call a timeout? Talk this through? Please? No? All right then. Here comes the pain.
Buras, pa ovo je možda čak i lakše na ovom igrat nego na joysticku. Majke mi. Ali, trebam smanjiti sensitivity buraz na mišu jer... Da ćemo vidjeti.
Almost contained. Can't let Pete down. I need to get this under control. Wait. Whoa, great arm. You ever pitch? Seriously, you're AAA easy. Whole new career just waiting for you. Man, he's too good. Power the street, Spider-Man. Honestly, kind of terrifying. Christmas in New York. Love this town. Never seen the big guy up close like this. Freaking nuts. He's a work of art, all right. Not the phrase I use. Alexi, there's holiday music. Nothing over 1965. Go. Love that one. Mine. Wow. Just wow. I got the keys. Let's move. Hurry up. We gotta get out of here.
Još nešto. Plain graphics. Items contrast. Can be used to set the right frame rate which game will aim to accomplish automatically adjust internal rendering resolution. Ok, dobro. Graphics high. Very high. Very high. Very low, čekaj.
Miles, I'm gonna need a hand up here. You free? Your holiday spirit's a little overzealous.
Aj, Rudi, hvala ti kaj si došao, Čujemo se sutra. Ja ću isto preći ovu misiju, gasim stream, idem leć. I sutra ću igrat ovo. Ovo mi se sviđa full.
Spider-Man, hey! You need a little help? Hey!
days I was locked behind 30 feet of steel. I intend to enjoy this one. He's a menace. Too soft. He's a low-energy menace. Too easy. Maybe he's a weak-minded. Oh!
Hey, Jonah, looking good. Very festive.
Menace! A feckless, treacherous, unhinged menace! Right here!
Mijo, ¿dónde está? It's getting late.
Hey, Mom. Yeah, coconut milk. Still trying to find it. It's been kind of, an adventure.
Are you running?
Yeah, sorry. Trying to catch a train.
Mira, mijo, no seas mentiroso. Grab the milk and hurry home, please.
Sí, Ma. Te quiero mucho.
Yo también te quiero.
Now or never, Miles. We gotta stop him.
On my way.
We gotta bring him down fast.
Yeah, what do we do?
Let us raise temperature.
Oh, bad, very bad.
Pete, are you okay? No. Oh, no.
I'm okay. I've got him. Headed your way. Be ready.
Okay. Yeah. Might, need a minute.
Uraz, grafika je nerealna, gle ovo je.
Tip for the police. Maybe don't bring RPGs to the prison convoy next time. Maybe don't bring RPGs anywhere.
You got Alexei. Okay, that was pretty good. Get out of here, Spider-Man. You're making things back in there.
Man, I'm trying to help you.
I'm gonna break you.
More guys up top.
Popni se gore.
Pete, it's getting hairy out here. Police and escapees are shooting it out.
Back up the police. I can hold out a little longer.
He's counting on me. I've got to stop these guys. They're all over that bridge. He can't lose. He never loses.
Pay for that. Miles, need your...
Pete! Hang on, man! Hang on! Spider-Man, you good?
Uraz, ovo tako jebeno izgleda je.
Pete! 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 Wake up! Wake up, man! Wake up, man!
This Spider-Man is broken. I would like to exchange for new one. This one will do.
Miles, get out of here. Bro. Back? The hell? What was that?
When pushing because Venom stun on impact, Venom stun enemies take bonus damage from basic attacks. Cost Venom power to perform, build Venom power by attacking or dodging enemies.
How am I even doing this? Electrocyte? Some kind of field induction?
You survived while your mentor perishes. How unexpected.
And you're using words longer than crush and smash. Very unexpected. You're not gonna keep pushing people around, Alexei. I'm not gonna let you hurt anyone else.
I am excited to see you try, small one.
Don't come after my friends, or I will come after you.
You are worthy opponent, small one.
Flattery's not gonna get you out of this, Alexei. Hey, in the future, just do the time, man. No more breakouts, please.
You will not stop me.
You destroyed half the city. Don't you care? You've hurt a lot of people today, Alexei. You know, man, chasing you through the city kind of felt like a wild, what's the word? Wild goose chase.
Wild goose? No. Oh! I hate quesadillas!
Hey, man, is the Raz really that bad? You sure you don't want to just, you know, go back?
I am free spirit. No man shall cage me.
It'd be a great Christmas present to New York if you just stay down. You alive?
Dajmo boost!
Guys, wow, just wow. Simon Krieger, head of R&D at Roxxon Energy. Pleasure to meet you.
You too. Sorry. I think our ball landed in your yard.
No, actually did us a favor. We just bought the place. We're planning to tear it down for a build. But looks like you beat us to it. I wanted to thank you, both of you. Taking down Rhino? Solo? You are going places, bud.
Thanks. But he's still dangerous.
Nah, we'll hold him for the police. You know, I always think these super troopers are overkill until...
Aj, Buraz, ja sad ovo završava cutscena, sve cutscene završe, gasim i sutra igram ovaj Spider-Man, Buraz, prezanimljiv mi je. Prezanimljiv mi je.
Clear out. Let the police do their job.
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
Bioelectricity. Wow. Gotta be honest, little jealous.
Hey, look. I got nothing on the OG. Think we should run tests tomorrow? A little voltage analysis?
Oh, man. Yeah, sorry. I've been meaning to tell you, I'm not gonna be around for the next few weeks.
Is this some kind of pee joke I don't get?
No. MJ's headed overseas for the Bugle and requested me as her photographer. Kind of a working vacation for us.
Oh, man. Look, I don't know if I'm ready to fly solo. I screwed up today big time with the helicopter.
But then you delivered big time. You saved my bacon, Miles.
I got lucky.
Hey, I did this gig for 8 years without backup, and you better believe I screwed up lots of times. But that is how you learn.
What's this?
Christmas present. But first, you gotta take the oath.
Oh. Okay.
I promise to do everything in my power to protect this city.
I promise.
That's it.
That oath a real thing?
Totally. Definitely didn't just make it up. See you in a few weeks, Spider-Man. New York's only Spider-Man.
I'm New York's only Spider-Man.
Mhm.
I'm New York's only Spider-Man. Please don't screw this up.
The city late at night hit a pinnacle. Shining on my rather prolong, put those on game. Didn't know the true form of pure evil's invisible, so I keep a lot of vision. Every night I try to reach you when I see you, see your eyes. Don't let me catch you while we're wasting time. 'Cause all I know is in the soul. In this life, arms open wide. Feeling cool. Caught up and I'm floating high. In the soul. In this life, arms open wide. Feeling soul. Let's go. Maybe yeah, we can go up. Feeling just don't stop in there. Try to hate on us. Ain't worried about a thing since I'm strong enough. The feeling just don't stop in there. Baby, yeah, we can go up. Baby, yeah, we can go up. I see the light and you stay strong. The moon follow you back home. Since I've seen space, it's been too long. That's why I Scarface in my room. Let the dust settle on Venus. We ran off with diamonds. The media mislead us. True wealth is knowledge. They gon' try to hold you down, but we gon' get back up right now. They gon' try to mute the sound, but just know that you got that power in the soul. In this life, arms open wide. Feeling soul. Caught up and I'm floating high. In the soul. In this life, arms open wide. Feeling soul.
Yo, Genki.
Dude! Rhino? What?
Yeah. Where you at? You get into the apartment okay?
Yeah, your mom let me in. Unpacked / dumped my stuff all over your floor. Now I'm in the park, grabbing some air.
Oh, perfect. Dip over to the amphitheater. Got something to show you.
Dude, is this spider related? Please tell me you got a piece of Rhino's horn or something. Pics I've seen of the fight are straight up nuts.
Ha! Definitely spider related. And definitely better than a horn.
Oh, loving the suspense. I'm there.
Seen Cuddy in a mall. Them kids go
Uraz moj, je.
Genki's probably waiting at the amphitheater for me. Looking good. What's up, guys? Permiso. Spider-Man coming through.
Spider-Man! What are you doing out so late? Oh, scared the hell out of me.
Whoa!
Yo, Spider-Man.
Good to see
Happy
ya.
holidays.
Uraz, kako lijepo igrica izgleda.
Hey, how's it
Man,
going?
I put off
Can't
Christmas
believe that
shopping.
restaurant closed.
I heard it had a roach infestation.
Gross. Your sandwiches were really good, though. What the?
Are we really doing midnight masses?
Aha, kužim.
Keep your head up, Spider Kid. You'll figure this all out. Real heroes like you always do.
What is wrong?
Happy Hanukkah.
Uraz, ovo je fakat ogromna mapa. Checkpoint. Continue. Ljudi moji, ovo je jebena igrica, Ovo je jebena igrica, sviđa mi se jako. Ful mi se sviđa. Sviđa mi se ovo full. Ništa, to bi bilo to. Čuj, ovo još imam ovo odpaljeno. Da vidimo nas ko gleda, ne gleda. Ako me ko gleda, slobodno neka ode. A nije više live. Jebote. Evo, Teo je live. Koliko se velo?
Ne! Jebem ti na mostu je gore u pičku materinu. Sej.
Ivan,
Nisam. Ko je to Vladeks? Jeba ću ti mater, znam ko si.
Ništa ljudi, uglavnom ja završavam stream. Ko hoće, ko je tu, neka ode kod Teja na stream, tako da se može tamo družiti.
Tebi neko bacaju.
Daj mali kod.
Moram otvoriti stream isto.
ja ča gazdi.
Evo ga.
Moj ping. Prešao možda u ciglenu.
Evo, neka ode na ovaj Teov stream, pa
Dva lika imaju ovdje, dva tima.
Uživajte. Laku vam noć želim. Poz.